Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the beloved Hound Pound in Maryville, Missouri. It is the Maryville Spoofhounds, the runner-up this year in the Midland Empire Conference against the champions of the Big Eights. No, not that Big Eights. It would be the high school Big Eight Conference.
I wish the Big Eight still existed.
Not the Big Eight from the 70s and 80s, but the Big Eight down in southwest Missouri. Cassville, Missouri, about halfway as the crow flies between Joplin and Branson is the opponents. Made the not a short trip, but a fairly easy trip straight north up the interstate, up to Kansas City, up to Maryville on 71. That is the matchup today. There are a lot of matchups as we look at a big semifinal Saturday here across the Show Me State, where you got teams that are 12-0 against 12-0. That's not the case in this game, and I think it's fair to say that both these teams have traveled fairly similar paths to make it to the state semifinals. It hasn't been the smoothest of seasons for Cassville and Maryville. They've won a lot more than they've lost, but both teams have run into, especially early to mid-season, a little bit in the way of turbulence, so to speak. But they've really turned it on here in the month of November.
They have indeed, and it's just been kind of interesting. I started out week one against Blair Oaks. And they had a lot of injuries, and they had about 9 players out that game. They also lost their starting quarterback that game, has not returned this year. So have been dealing well with what they've been dealt, but, their record 10-3 could easily, because they got beat by St. Pius as well, because St. Pius took the MEC this year, but I think that's kind of a false record, Tom. I think they're a much better team than 10-3. It looked like they started off like in the negative, if you remember.
Right.
And so, the band's coming onto the field now and everything's getting ready. But you know what, Tom? The only time they've ever beaten Blair Oaks is in postseason.
Yeah.
So
and just Blair Oaks was, that was a tough opponent to start the season for Maryville. That one was a 51-8 loss.
Third year in a row on their journey. First 2 years were at William Jewell. This year it was at Central Missouri.
I'd like to know if they got the water in the capital city, because you got Blair Oaks, who's a juggernaut.
It's kind of like Maryville. What's in the water here?
Well, but there's only one school in Maryville.
2, college and a high school, and they're both powerhouses.
Well, true. Yeah. Pretty good towns, Jefferson City and Maryville, for high school football. It's time for the anthem here from the Hound Pound. It's Maryville and Cassville in the Class 3 semifinals. It's coming up on UClick TV and Misha.tv.
MTE Office Center in Maryville is a family-owned and operated business. For more than 80 years, MTE has powered local businesses in the office. From furniture, supplies, computer sales, and service, MTE Office Center is the one-stop source for all your office needs. Now offering free shipping on all orders. Visit us at mteoffice.com. That's mteoffice.com. Your grill master, Tim Jackson, is always whipping up something good at every Spoofhounds home football game. And if you can't find him there at the Hound Pound, well, he's probably at Titletown Grill. With their famous handmade tenderloin, a variety of food options, an expanded drink menu, and several flat-screen TVs, the Titletown Grill provides the best sports viewing venue in Maryville. From Spoofhounds to Bearcats, Chiefs or Royals, they have it all. Wear your team's colors and bring your friends and family to enjoy Titletown Grill. Located at 130 North Depot Street in Maryville, Missouri. Titletown Grill, the place where fans and champions come to eat.
The Maryville High School Pep Band with the playing the Star Spangled Banner. We're talking about great cities in Missouri that have football on the mind and on the brain, and just they roll out great teams, whether it be at the high school level or the collegiate level. Jeff City has the Jeff City Jays. Helias Catholic, who we saw last night, just a dramatic victory down the road at Smithville. And you also have down in that neck of the woods, Blair Oaks, who we mentioned that Maryville had all kinds of difficulties with back in week number 1. There's some pretty good football to be played down in southwest Missouri. The sports down around the Springfield, Joplin area, they are always tough and good. If you can just make it out of that quadrant, let alone make it to state, you're a really good football team. Cassville has made it out of that quadrant in Class 3. They're the representative for Southwest Missouri. If you do that, you're doing a lot of good things.
Is Cassville closer than St. Louis?
From here?
Yeah.
I looked at. I think it's about 300 miles from Cassville to Maryville, maybe 292. So it would be probably a little bit closer. But hard to say. At least for Cassville, Joplin to Kansas City's an interstate drive.
It seems like every time we've covered Maryville or Mid-Buck in the postseason, Tom, we've had to
go to St. Jeff.
Yeah, St. Jeff or St. Louis. Last year it was Dawson Whitman and crew that did that game.
I like going to St. Jen. It's just a long way to get there, but that's another good football town between St. Genevieve High School and Valley Catholic. Cassville, we mentioned how Maryville and Cassville, the storylines are similar. Both had just been rolling since midseason. Cassville opened the season playing a tough Mount Vernon team. Lost 21-13. The only other loss on the schedule to the Lamar Tigers, and that's a juggernaut, so that by no means is a bad loss for Cassville. That was 40-20 back on the final Friday night of September. Since that point, it's been roll, Cassville, roll. Shutout victory against Monette. 42-21 win against Seneca. East Newton goes down 42-0. McDonald County, 44-21 win. A forfeit, Reed Spring. I would assume that was COVID-related. Mount Vernon, 35-13 2 weeks ago. And Buffalo last week in the state quarterfinals, a 41-16 victory. So I don't know if it's the same level of putting up points as the Helias team that we saw last night, but Cassville certainly is adept at scoring points. Most of the Cassville victories sees the Wildcats between 40 and 50 points. With that being the case, Maryville's going to want to keep them a little bit more under control. You've seen more of the Spoofhounds than I this year, Jim, and just from what I know about Maryville, really feels like that trip down to Lincoln Prep midseason where Maryville had one of their finest performances of the season, that really has served as the impetus for Maryville to turn their season around, has it not?
Yes, and like I said, there's just been some issues. It's not a typical Matt Webb team. Starting quarterback out week one, having to go with the new quarterback the rest of the year. They've handled it very well. You just don't have that passing attack that you normally had with the old quarterbacks. So, it's hard to compare apples and oranges on this team because of COVID, because of, just 2020 in general, right?
Yeah, it's been different. It's now hopefully we never see a year like this again, but it's one of those years that you want to win, but before you get to the win and loss part, you just hope that you play.
Right.
And both these teams have done well. It's one of the things that Smithville's coach mentioned last night, and how proud he was of his kids for following protocols and just making sure that if we win or if we lose, we want to follow protocols. We want to get our games in, and they just did a great job this year.
They did. Some teams were luckier than others. You had one of the Broncos in Lee Summit out week one due to COVID. Rockhurst. That's a tough. It's been a tough year to start a new job for Donahue. I can never say it right, but he's just when you're starting a new job in COVID in 2020, you don't get a chance to know your players in the off season. You have to wait till you start your school year to really get to know them. You can do Zoom meetings and stuff, but it's just not the same. It's not as personal as an in person, right?
No, and it was. You got to remember how long we've been in this pandemic. It's not that the kids weren't around in the summer and not able to get summer workouts. School shut down about March 10th.
Right.
So there was nothing in the spring.
Spoofhounds. Cassville just took the field.
Now, Cassville's going to look a lot like, I guess you could say Mizzou, Iowa, that black and gold scheme.
Yeah, even though they're close to the University of Arkansas, the U of A, still sporting the Missouri colors, right?
Well, they are on the Missouri side of the border, though. Not really a border town, but they are close.
It's closer to go shop in Rogers, Bentonville, and Fayetteville, though.
And you know this, too. If you get down to Springfield in that neck of the woods, it might lean a little bit Missouri, but you got a lot of Missouri State people, and you got a lot of Arkansas Razorbacks in Springfield, Mo.
Let's go over some matchups right now. Of course, the 8-man championship game going on in Chillicothe. It will be starting at 12:51. You can go to medvid.com, MIV, Is it MIVD? Midvid. I don't know. I put it out on Facebook and Twitter, but listen to that game, or you can go to Mission TV and watch that game.
Mission.tv, is it not?
I just go to Mission, hit the TV button.
If you don't know for sure, Google it. And if you don't know what Google is, you got to get caught up with 21st century technology.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
So we got that game going on against North Andrew. That's we're in the part of the state right now where it's North Andrew country. They're hoping for another state title, very dominating 8-man program, going against a really, really good. And the thing about Southwest, they've had several coaches over the last recent years, and they're still making it to that state title game back-to-back years.
Here's the biggest question. The North Andrew's big and strong and physical, but they're playing on the field turf over at Jerry Litton Memorial Stadium in Chillicothe, and Southwest has the speed. You put Southwest on that field turf, that's going to be challenging for North Andrew. Can they slow down the Southwest speed? I think that's the question in the 8-man final.
Yeah, exactly. And, again, playing in your own county, very few schools get to do that on a normal year, but Elias getting to play in Jeff City, Southwest Livingston County getting to play in Chillicothe. So kind of another factor of COVID 2020. The reason they are not playing at in Como is at Faroe Field is because this week was supposed to be the Arkansas-Missouri game at Arrowhead. They had to move that.
Right.
And then next week is the makeup date in case they needed it, in which they did need it. They're going to play that Arkansas-Missouri game hopefully next week.
Yep. And there's indecisiveness. You don't know what gets moved around, and you might need Faroe Field for the Tigers.
What do you know about this game? Class 1, Adrian Midbuck.
Well, I think I've said this since the first of the season. If I were a betting man and somebody asked me, Tom, what do you have the most confidence in an area team out in Northwest Missouri that can win state, I'd start with Mid-Buchanan.
Yeah.
They've been just a juggernaut all season long.
And they've been there several times now. They know the drill. They know the experience. They've been this deep before. They just haven't been able to win it, Tom.
And you know what? They got challenged last week, too. The final score wouldn't indicate it because Midbuck scored the last 4 touchdowns of the game, but for about 2.5, 3 quarters, the game I listened to, Hamilton gave Midbuck everything that they wanted and more last week. So Midbuck has to challenge there. And Adrian's awfully good. Adrian winning at Marcelin's impressive at 13-7. You just it's hard to envision somebody slowing down that Mid-Buchanan offense led by Javin Noyes.
And here's one on the Kansas side. I think it's going to be a fun game. It's at 1 today as well. Blue Valley North versus Derby. Derby a powerhouse, but Blue Valley North doing great things. And also the former coach of St. Pius is on that squad as well. Happy for Coach Rick Byers making his way from the Missouri side to the Kansas side and making it to a state title game.
I remember this from working in Kansas. Covering Kansas high school sports is fun because you get to this time of the year or March for basketball, you're either home or you're traveling a long way to go to a ball game because Derby's a long way down there.
Yes, it is.
That'll be a fun trip. Great game.
And then also DeSmit versus Raymore Peculiar. That's going to be a fun one as well today. That's the state title game for Class 6 in Missouri. It is being played somewhere in Jeff City. I don't know the exact location.
I think it's at Jeff City High School, but it's at one of 3 options. So there you go. At 1 o'clock kickoff there. Maybe the best game that I think might be played today just as far as a matchup. Jim, we talked about this last night down at Smithville. I think Platte County at Webb City in the Class 5 semifinals, kicking off 1:30. That might be the best game of the whole slate.
It could be. I'll tell you, the best game we've seen all year was last night.
Awesome game.
Jefferson City, Elias coming back, trailed the whole game, trailed the whole game. There wasn't many points scored in that game, and the points didn't start scoring until midway through the third, but ended up coming away with 30 seconds to go. Your call. Great call. Go listen to it on Twitter. Elias ends up beating Smithville 13-10.
Something to be said, too, and we talked about this in postgame last night, where if somebody were said, okay, what did you see from that ball game? I would have said, it wasn't a dominating performance for Smithville, but I felt like Smithville had the better of play. Mm-hmm. But Elias, they hung in there, and they were in a position that hadn't been all season long, where it's a low-scoring game. The offense is struggling, but they just hung in there, and they made big plays in the red zone. And when they had to make a play, they made a play, and that's sign of a great football team.
Well, the bad news is for the 2 Catholic schools that are in the playoffs right now, Jeff City will be bumped up more than likely a class. We'll be playing in Class 5 next year. And then you got, I'll go ahead and go to the other one, Palmyra at St. Pius, meaning Pius is going to be bumped up from
correct
3 to 4 next year.
Well, Pius is in 2.
Or they'll be bumped up to 3 next year.
Okay, yeah.
So
that great ball game there, Palmyra. Yeah, for folks that aren't aware, I talked with a couple of coaches, including Scott Stevens over at Brookfield High School, that are members of the Clarence Cannon Conference, and they say, and there's some reason behind it, that's the best Class 2, Class 3 conference in the state, and they might be right, because you get through that conference 12-0, you are a great football team. St. Pius X, we know about the strength of the Midland Empire Conference. Maryville can tell you about that, going through the MEC with an 11-0 record. It's at Pius today. That place is going to be jumping. I don't know what's going to happen. That's a really interesting matchup between Northwest Missouri's representative Pius and Northeast representative, the 12-0 Palmyra Panthers.
Mill Valley, another good one today as well. But that'll do it for our slate of games on both sides of the state line.
Fun day.
We'll keep you updated on scores throughout this game, but right now, guess what, Tom?
It's game time in Maryville.
It's the coin flip time.
You're trying to build up the coin flip. Is this the most exciting part of the whole day?
Well, it was in one NFL football game, I believe. It was at NFL or college where they finally changed the coin because it was confusion on the toss.
I think that was a Lions Thanksgiving game a number of years ago, where he says, I didn't say heads, I said tails.
Well, the Lions need to quit playing on Thanksgiving Day, Tom.
So do the Cowboys, for that matter.
Well, yeah.
As a Vikings fan, though, I don't mind having the Lions in the division. You can usually figure a good chance a couple of wins against. Poor Detroit.
What about tell you a great story in Smith with Washington, isn't it?
Oh, tremendous.
I wonder if he's ever thought back if I was in Kansas City, I wouldn't have had to go through this.
You know, I remember having this discussion a couple of years ago where Alex Smith had left and Andy Reid is going to go with Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
We had a discussion on how good Mahomes was going to be. I was 1,000% wrong because I thought he was a system quarterback out of Texas Tech. I don't know. I had the Chiefs moved up to draft him number 10 overall. If you want to go back and archive some of those comments, I will take a whole lot of guff for that one. I was 1,000% wrong.
There was a lot of people wrong, Tom, because Alex Smith was a good quarterback. He just wasn't that gunslinging guy.
Right.
But you know what? Someday that will catch up with Patrick.
Yeah,
true. You can't take chances like that.
And I will say this:
he's the luckiest guy in the world.
As good as Mahomes is, he's in the perfect spot for him to be good. Yep. He has a lot of talent around him on that offense.
And Andy Reid.
Yes.
We are set.
Chiefs and Bucks tomorrow, but that's NFL. It's a college and high school Saturday. Missouri leading Vanderbilt 21-0. That's a halftime score. A lot of folks are wondering if Sarah Fuller, the female kicker from Vanderbilt, is going to get a shot. Well, she's going to kick the ball off to start the second half down in Como. As Maryville will receive the kickoff. Maryville has the green helmets, all black uniforms with the gold numerals.
Coach Webb changes it up in postseason. I think he's kind of, one year they were wearing Northwest Missouri State Bearcat white pants, and they even had the Bearcat claws on the sides. He brings out different things this time of year.
I love that.
Just to try and find some hype, you know.
I love that uniform because you're getting sparkle off of the M, but I think there's a little bit of sparkle coming off of those gold numerals from Maryville. Here's the opening kick. And that's going to sail all the way through the back of the end zone. That's the young man with a strong leg. Caden Steckline said, no, sir. We will take it at the 28-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the Spoofhounds.
Steckline, a great name here in the area. It's done well for this program. And, you know, it's kind of like you hear a lot of the same names over and over, Tom, from year to year. Guys graduate.
Usually you see that in smaller towns in Maryville, but it tells you a little bit what Maryville has too. That a town Maryville's size, you do see the same last names.
We were hoping to have Jonathan Baker in your shoes, former Spoofhound and...
Quick handoff coming off left side and stopped after a gain of 1 is Cade Wilmus. He got the quick handoff on the jet sweep. It looked like it was a little bit of difficulty to get that ball to Cade, and that slowed down the pace of the play. We'll call it a gain of 2 at 2nd down and 8 for the Spoofhounds.
But also Northwest quarterback, play-by-play guy, but he couldn't make it, so you got the call.
There's a pitch and a penalty.
Something you definitely don't want to see in a semifinal. Early flags and a lot of flags. This time of year, you got to play your best.
Absolutely. It's also the time of year, too, and I see it all the time. If you get little 5-yard penalties, some people say, 5-yard penalty doesn't hurt you all that much. Listen, if it gets you behind the sticks in your running team, that's not a good spot to be.
Well, it depends on, too. Right now, if you don't get a first down here, you're going to give Cassville really good field position because of that penalty.
No question. 2nd down and 13. There's a rollout. Nothing open. Late throw and incomplete. Good coverage on the play. The Maryville bench wanted a flag and no flag coming. Looked like pretty good coverage right up the back by Brett Cooper.
I think that was just bagging.
Yeah. That's a play right in front of where you're trying to get an early call. It looked like pretty good coverage, I thought, by Cooper.
It did.
And at some point, and I know you and I are in agreement on this, Jim, let him play. At some point, you don't want to be calling every little ticky-tack thing that you see out on
Well, and you don't want to be in this position, 3rd and 13 with your ball on your 17. Dyer here.
Another rollout for the Spoofhounds. Late throw incomplete.
That guy's, I think, 6'8".
He looks it.
He had a great, I don't know if you saw that on Twitter, that him going like this. He had a great sack in that last game against Lee Summit Christian.
It was Mark Gustafson, the big senior tight end, and he could have been running for a while on that drag pattern. Hit him right in the hands. Punt time for the Spoofhounds as Cassville gets an early stop.
Yeah, there again, that penalty just puts you in a very, very bad situation, Tom.
Brett Cooper back to return the punt, but first we get a timeout. Wildcats. Cassville with some early momentum getting a 3-and-out against Maryville. Maryville's punt is coming up. Maryville opened the season 51-8 loss to Blair Oaks, then got on a little bit of a roll, beat Harrisonville 42-40. Hammered Chillicothe 62-7, then lost to Pius 26-14. From there, a 27-7 win against Cameron. Maryville went on to lose to Odessa 28-14, beat Lincoln Prep 49-10, Savannah 39-17, Lafayette 26-14, Northeast 60-14, Cameron 41-13, Richmond 46-14, and Summit Christian Academy 35-9. To me, it looks like it's been the defense for Maryville that really has improved and bucked up the level of play over the last 6-7 weeks.
Well, 9:30 to go in the first quarter, Tom. It's 0-0 down in Chillicothe right now. North Andrew, neither team, typically I describe 8-man football like arena football. Stop back, drop, 3 seconds or less, pass. But you're going to see good defense today, I'm sure, in the state title game.
There's another flag going against Maryville. So an uneven start here on the home turf for the Spoofhounds. A couple of early jumps from the offensive line. Maryville still showing not that traditional punt look, but I can't believe here that Coach Webb isn't going to boot that football away.
I don't. He likes to gamble.
There's gambling, and then there's 4th and 19 from your own 11 gambling. I got to think that there's going to be a backup here and a quick punt. There's the pitch. There's the punt.
Yeah.
Booted off the side of the leg. It hits at the 31-yard line and picked up there. That was not a terribly great punt on the run by Ben Walker. A different look for Maryville to get a punt away, but the punt only goes 10 yards. And Cassville's going to have glorious field position on the Wildcats' first drive of the ball game here from the Hound Pound. 10:58 to go in quarter number 1.
Not to keep harping on that flag, that false start call. that could be a game-changing moment. If this game is a low-scoring game, that could really come back and haunt you right
10
here.
10 yards of field position, a couple of false starts.
Yep.
Cassville with the football. Split backfield. Keeper. And out to the 29-yard line. Not getting very much as the starting quarterback, Tyler Seamer. Let me correct on that. That was Hayden Sink.
North Andrews scored with about 9 minutes to go.
Seamer is a Maryville Spoofhound. Sink, number 9, is a Cassville Wildcat. And he goes 230. It should be easy to see Sink. He is all at 230. He is a big quarterback. 2nd and 7. Quick handoff. Bursting middle. Down to the 25-yard line. There's some heavy hitting there. As getting the football for Cassville, number 23, Zach Kanan. He goes 215 pounds. It looks like there's not a lot of flash and dash with Cassville. Cassville has big bodies up front, and they come at you with big bodies. 3rd and 2. No score, but Cassville inching toward the red zone. Ball at the 24-yard line.
They should at least get a field goal out of this drive.
With 9:55 to go in the first. High formation backfield. Maryville shifting the line, and there's a flag, and that might be going against the Wildcats.
Crowd here. Definitely.
False start against Cassville.
There's quite a few people from Cassville here. It's about half and half, Tom, the stadium. Maybe a little bit more on the Maryville side.
Unlike Smithville, where we were last night, there are no stands on the east side of the Hound Pound. Everything here on the west side.
I'm surprised they didn't bring them in for this with COVID and everything, you know.
I'm with you. I thought bringing in
those rentable, portable ones.
Temporary seating might be a good option. 3rd and 7. Here's a sack.
Wow!
Back at the 34-yard line. A pump fake by Sink, and then he was buried by the rush of the Hounds.
That's a big hit, Tom. Big time hit. That's a Saturday hit, and it is Saturday.
Now, we saw Friday night hits last night, Saturday afternoon hits today.
Something about Saturday, broadcasting at a 1 o'clock game on a Saturday. You don't get to do it very much calling high school sports.
Now, there's something cool about, as I said last night, there's something cool about a high school football game where it starts in the dark. But Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock is pretty cool as well. 4th down and 12. Sink back to pass, steps into the pocket, throws toward the end zone. That's going to be incomplete. Coverage on the play by Brady Farnan. And Maryville, after giving up that field position on a 3 and out and a poor punt, the defense holds strong. What a hold by the Hounds.
You can tell this Hound Pound is rocking today.
It's rocking, and unlike last week where Jim down at Lee Summit High School, you had to deal with the elements and the rain and everything. We're indoors, but even if we're outdoors today, it's a glorious day for football here on the final weekend of November.
I think it took a whole week to dry my equipment out, Tom. Fortunately, nothing ruined in the rain.
1st and 10, Spoofhounds. Pitch coming wide, and nothing doing, I don't think. Some second effort, but trying to get back to the line of scrimmage and losing a yard will be Ben Walker.
How long are we going to see this? We saw it last night. I tell you what, Cassville should have picked up some points there. They missed out on an opportunity right there on that great field position they have. Now Maryville, chance to go down, 50 yards, 40.
2nd and 10, quick double handoff coming back to the near side 40-yard line, bursting out to the 45, and close to midfield is Cade Wilmus. He gets first down yardage on the double handoff. They will mark him out at the 49-yard line. That's a gain of 14 and a Spoofhound first down. I think the common thread, and it's very early in this ball game, but with all the points that these semifinalists score, it's defense. That's the reason that you're here. Handoff, cutting back middle. Good gain for the Spoofhounds to the 47-yard line for Trey Houchin.
Houchin, another big Spoofhound name. 6'6" now, Tom, down in Chillicothe. We're up and over in Chillicothe. 7:45 to go in the first quarter.
Yep, 6-6 there. 7-0. Minute and a half into the game. Mid-buck over Adrian. Run right side, finding a seam and getting close to the first down. Down to the 43-yard line is Maryville's Ben Walker. Yeah, so tell me if you've heard that one before. A 21-yard touchdown run by T.J. Runyon, mid-Buchanan over Adrian, 7-0 with 10:37 to go in the first quarter.
Dave Riggert on the call there, Tom.
Handoff, middle, bouncing off a tackle and rumbling his way for a hard-earned couple of yards and the first down to the 41-yard line is Maryville's Houchin. You can tell by the way that Houchin is running that football that the Hounds are fired up right now. Everybody's playing with their hair on fire.
Well, and they've learned all year how to do more on the ground because of the quarterback situation, Tom.
Here's play action, naked boot. Throw back across the grain. Caught at the 5-yard line. Diving touchdown. Spoofhounds. Connor Drake to Cade Wilmus. Maryville ran a little play action. And the touchdown connection from 45 puts the Hounds on the board with 6:56 to go in the first quarter. Maryville 6, Cassville no score.
Well, you know what, Tom? We're not going to wait almost 4 quarters to see a point scored today.
What a perfect pass. Wilmus caught it. Drake threw it. Here's the extra point for Maryville. Snaps perfect, hold is down, the kick is up. There's some hook to that, but it stays within the upright. The wind caught it, it tried to keep it outside the upright, but it's good. 7-0, Maryville with the lead, 6:56 to go in the opening quarter of play. You're watching the Missouri Class 3 state semifinal from the Hound Pound.
Grill master Tim Jackson is always whipping up something good at every Spoofhounds home football game. And if you can't find him there at the Hound Pound, well, he's probably at Titletown Grill. With their famous handmade tenderloin, a variety of food options, an expanded drink menu, and several flat-screen TVs, the Titletown Grill provides the best sports viewing venue in Maryville. From Spoofhounds to Bearcats, Chiefs or Royals, they have it all. So wear your team's colors and bring your friends and family to enjoy Titletown Grill. Located at 130 North Depot Street in Maryville, Missouri. Titletown Grill, the place where fans and champions come to eat.
The roster is a little bit smaller than other seasons. A season that has had some rockiness and up and down to it. There's a level of, if it's November and you're wearing Maryville green and gold, it's winning time. And Maryville opens up on the second drive of the game with a 45-yard touchdown strike to make the score 7-0. I mentioned the wind. It was not noticeable at all coming in about 11 o'clock, but it is very noticeable now. The wind has picked up in a big way, blowing right in the face of the Maryville Spoofhounds, directly out of the south. Old Glory across the way is going pretty good. There's a kick down to the 10. Returnable to the 20, getting out to the 30-yard line is Cassville's Brett Cooper. So Cassville's Wildcats will take the football down, 6:49 to go in quarter number 1. Winner goes to Mid-Missouri, somewhere in Jefferson City, to play in the state championship game next week against either Blair Oaks or Cardinal Ritter. First down and 10 from the 29, split backs for the Cats. Keeper around right hand stood up and stopped at the line of scrimmage is Hayden Sink, the 230-pound quarterback.
Defense came to play.
Sink's a big boy at 230. He's not quite as big as the Lincoln Prep quarterback, who UClick has made halfway famous from some of the video from earlier this season.
What was that?
Oh, I said Sink's 230, but he's not as big as the Lincoln Prep quarterback that you guys made famous.
No, and the next 3 plays later, he threw a 100-yard pick 6.
Bouncing it out, left side. Oh, fumble on the play. That ball is loose. Is it Spoofhound ball? It is, I believe. Are they going to point that way officially? They're discussing. Maryville is saying Spoofhound ball. Maryville ball.
There you go.
Putting putting a hat right on the football. That's football 101.
They're having some fun here in the Hound Pound.
Like that was Zach Kanan who put a ball right on the turf. I got to think that was a hat on the football, pouncing it right out of there. Off and you get a turnover and you go for that home run pass. You go deep. Will Maryville do that here?
Got through those early mistakes. Pick up 7. Now a chance to put some more points on the board here. 6:05 to go in the first quarter.
1st and 10 Hounds, offset eye. Pitch going out left to Walker. He stood up and brought down after a gain of a hard-earned 1. He got close to the 30. As it'll bring up 2nd down. I gave him the 30. I was being really generous. He didn't gain a thing. It's a gain of nothing. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the green and gold with 5:42 to go in the first quarter of play. Going under center, Connor Drake. Quick handoff, comes back left side, cutting back against the grain, getting across the 30 down to the 28-yard line is Cade Wilmotz.
Semifinal score update for you, Tom Johnson. Mid-Buck now up 14-0.
That is a machine, an absolute machine that the Dragons have going this year.
Only minute 6-6.
Let me give you a score update again. 21-0 Mid-Buck, midway through the first quarter. 3rd down and 6. Blake put a big tape on both sides. Cutting his Walker. He gets a block. 25-yard line flag on the play as he's chopped down at the 23. A couple of yards short of the first down, but there are a couple of flags on the play. That might be a hold on that cutback by Ben Walker.
6:07 to go in the first quarter. 6-6 still. North Andrew and Southwest.
There were, and North Andrew's kind of involved in some of these games, where Southwest plays a lot of games that are 70-40.
Yeah.
North Andrew plays a lot of games that are lower scoring, like 40-20-ish. So depending on what sort of game that is, if it's a high-scoring game, advantage Wildcats. If that's a lower scoring game.
Who was in the state title game? Was it the same 2 last year?
No, it was Mountain City last year, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah, I believe. 3rd and 15. That was a killer penalty for the Spoofhounds. Trips left side. A lot of time, throwing it deep down the seam. That pass is knocked away. That's excellent play by the free safety of Cassville. It looked open. It might have been thrown a little bit late, Jim Bly. I feel like that if Drake throws that more on a line, on a slant pattern, that might have been completed. He gave that some air, getting it down to the 5. That gave the safety a chance to come over and knock it away.
Yeah, I needed to gunsling it, like Patrick Mahomes, right?
Exactly. 4th and 15 from the 37. Pitch and punt by Walker. He boots it to the 5, and it kicks out of bounds just outside the pylon, and that means it made it to the goal line, and that's good news if you're a Cassville backer. The Wildcats get the break. Instead of the ball at the 1, it's going to come out to the 20.
I've heard more quarterback coaches talk about having to retrain kids today after Patrick Mahomes came on the scene, because that's not the typical training you get when you go to a quarterback school, Tom.
It is not. 2:15 to go in the first quarter. It is North Andrew 14, Southwest 6 in the 8-man state final. Handoff. There's not a lot of movement right now for Cassville with that big offensive line. Gain of a couple on the handoff to Jericho Ferris, and it'll be 2nd down and 7.
How'd they get? Do they have 2-point conversions in 8-man?
Yes.
Okay.
Ball down at the 23-yard line. Misdirectional handoff, bouncing it right side, trying to break the tackle and unable to do so. Dragging a tackler to the 26-yard line is Jericho Ferris, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 4. These are big plays in high school football games. It's 3rd down and manageable for Cassville, but 4 yards against this Maryville defense, that's easier said than done. What happens on 3rd and short? You know what the Spoofhound faithful want? They want to stop.
They brought the big green hand clappers. They even got Maryville and M on them. Good fundraiser.
There's a handoff and a cutback and stop. After a gain of 1 is the big fullback for Cassville, Zach Kanan. It'll be 4th and 2 in decision time for Coach Lance Parnell of the Wildcats.
You don't go for it. There's 3:04 left in the first.
I said it's decision time. I didn't say it was one that he'd think about a whole lot. Yeah. Well, I think it's an easy decision to punt, but look where the wind's blown. You got to be able to get a pretty good punt here. The wind is at the back of Cassville.
We saw Maryville's punt earlier, which they were kicking into the wind.
Ooh. There's a high, ugly-looking punt out of bounds.
So that'll mark it up to what?
That may have not got back to the line of scrimmage. That was a slice.
That's a golf term, Tom.
No, that was a slice in the Jim Bly Academy of Golf.
What do you think about November Masters? It just didn't feel the same.
Yeah, especially adult fans.
And then, you know, that's a special time. You got March Madness and the week following the Masters. We didn't have either one this year.
Well, NBA starting training camp in about 2 weeks. Felt like their season just ended.
Score update. 14-12 now. Southwest just picked up the score.
1st and 10, Spoofhounds handoff Walker. He stood up and drilled for a loss of 2. Somebody lost their mug.
Kind of eight-man football is kind of like NBA. There's not much defense, a lot of offense.
Well, you have 6 fewer guys on the field, and the field's only 80 yards. There's a lot of the concept in 8-man football. Get the ball to your athletes
3 seconds.
and let them do their thing.
You want to throw that. You want to get rid of that ball if you're throwing it in 3 seconds or less.
2nd down and 11 for Maryville. As the handoff goes left side, and this Cassville front's pretty tough. Running for Maryville has been difficult so far. Maryville, the straight ahead runs haven't worked. The misdirection worked a little bit better, but that'll be a stop at the line of scrimmage and a 3rd down and 11 from the 29-yard line. 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Hounds up 7-0. Some shifting at the line of scrimmage here for the green and gold, as going under center is Connor Drake with a whistle coming from Coach Webb.
Number 2 is number 4, Connor Wise, by the way.
Oh, it is. Okay. I got Connor Weiss as number 4.
Yeah. It's they've been switching jerseys. I forgot to tell you that.
Okay. I can roll with it. So, Ben Walker, is he wearing another jersey?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll roll it.
All tied up in Chillicothe mode. What else you got there on the scoreboard report?
Yep.
Brought to you by Tom Johnson.
And his Twitter feed. Mid-Buchanan 28, Adrian nothing. A 60-yard touchdown pass with 4:19 to go in the first quarter. Sounds like Mr. Riggert might have running clock in that one.
It sounds like one of our favorite coaches is going to be moving on to his first state championship game.
That man is a gem.
He's a great guy. And he's wearing shorts, and it's not even cold out.
There's a sack. Well, not a sack in the backfield because gaining a couple after contact was the quarterback Connor Drake, but it'll be 4th down and 9, and I think this is go for it territory for Maryville, is it not, Jim? 28-yard line?
Yes, sir.
You don't gain a whole lot from a punt. If you punt it in the end zone, you only get 8 yards. So the risk overwhelms anything else. Yeah, the reward. Well said. From the gun.
Up
flag. Throw middle. Incomplete.
Now, it's in the backfield, too, that flag, Tom, so.
Might have been a hold there. Usually when you get that flag coming from behind the quarterback. Yep, hold against Maryville. Some of the Maryville fans were saying interference. I'm not going to say they were wrong, but that ball wasn't catchable either. It was high.
The turnover on downs will give it to Cassville. 1st and 10.
So the penalty will be refused, and that was a quality stop for Cassville. If Maryville goes up 14-0, this Wildcat squad making the 5-hour trip from the south to the north, they'd be in a world of hurt. Big time stop by the black and gold.
I don't normally see two Greyhound-type buses in the parking lot, but I think with COVID they have to travel with less people per bus.
57 seconds. Did you see? And I know that you were parked far away, and I was parked very close to where the Elias Catholic cheering section was parked last night. I think they had about 4 or 5 Greyhound buses.
Yeah, they did. I saw them pull out of town last night.
Huge amount of buses.
Some of those are fans, though.
True.
You know, a little bit more money in the private schools, Tom.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Wildcats.
Tackled by Trey Houchin.
Not saying anything bad there, but I'm just saying the stating the obvious.
If you got the money to send your kid to a private school, you probably got the money for some other things.
You can charter a bus.
That's right. That's true. 2nd down, 6 yards to go for Cassville. 26 seconds to go in the first quarter. Back to pass. Ball knocked away, then picked back up. Big block on the edge. 30-yard line, stepping outside to the 40. Staying on his feet, going down the sideline is Sink, and he's all the way into Spoofhound territory.
That's what you hate about those broken plays like that. Sometimes they can really be great for you, but they can also be disastrous for you.
Maryville reacted, rightfully so, as a defense would say, hey, we get this fumble, we can bring it back. When it didn't happen, Maryville, in their exuberance of trying to get to that fumble, got themselves out of position. First down on the quarterback keeper by Hayden Sink. Sink pitches it out wide. Good angle on the right side of the field, turning to the 25 and stepping out of bounds at the 21-yard line is number 21, Jericho Ferris. He faked Maryville out there. It looked like he was going to cut back against the grain, but he stayed outside as it is 7-0 Maryville after 1 quarter of play. That's the score here from the Hound Pound in the Class 3 semifinals on UClick TV and Misha.tv.
MTE Office Center in Maryville is a family-owned and operated business. For more than 80 years, MTE has powered local businesses in the office. From furniture, supplies, computer sales, and service, MTE Office Center is the one-stop source for all your office needs. Now offering free shipping on all orders. Visit us at mteoffice.com. That's mteoffice.com.
Welcome back to Maryville High School. 7-0 is the score for the Maryville Spoofhounds over the Cassville Wildcats. But Cassville starting to build a little bit of momentum as we move our way here into quarter number 2. Cassville coming off of the 2 longest plays from scrimmage that the Wildcats have had. Everything between the hash marks for the Cassville offense been difficult, but Cassville starting to work outside the hash marks, and that's been more advantageous for this Cassville squad moving into quarter number 2.
Let's go! Get it started!
Cassville, a physical running football team. Capable of passing, but not the Wildcats' bread and butter. High formation behind Sink. Pitches it out wide. Ferris cut down at the 21-yard line for a gain of 1.
Ferris, the ball carrier. Stop made by Caleb Preisinger.
Preisinger on the tackle for Maryville with...
For the Wildcats from the 21.
Yeah, they need to be running that clock. I looked at the clock. There's still 12 minutes on there that should have ran after one play, so they're running it now. 2nd down and 8 coming up for the black and gold. Nearing the red zone, down by 7. Sink steps into the pocket, throws late toward the end zone. That ball is caught. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Flag.
Was Sink across the line.
Behind number 55.
Barrett made the catch, but there might have been a hold. I think the throw was behind the line of scrimmage. I think the throw itself was clean, but the referees are discussing, I think, a couple of different possibilities. He was across the line of scrimmage. It was close, but he was across the line of scrimmage, wave off the touchdown pass.
Bad touchdown call, Tom.
No, the touchdown call was there, but He was across the line of scrimmage. It is what it is.
Still 14-14 down in Chillicothe, North Andrew, Southwest Livingston County. Good matchup today. Boy, Aaron Fritz is going to be happy today, isn't he?
35-0. Mid-Buck over Adrian. 1.5 to go in the first quarter.
What year is that quarterback? Is he a senior year?
Yes, 4-year starter.
Yep.
3rd and 13. Sink rolls out, throws, and on the out pattern, incomplete. Cassville wanted a flag, but it looked like Drake Reese just had his feet go up from under him on the cut.
What do you do here, man?
Wow, you got to go for it, I think.
Yeah.
And unless you got a field goal kicker that you feel confident in a 43-yard field goal, that's a long high school kick
well,
into the wind.
This whole drive began to make progress after a fumble, Tom. That's how they got on the other side of the 50. Of course, they're back on that side of the 50 now because the quarters changed. But.
So 4th down and 13 here for Coach Parnell and Cassville High School making some late substitutions. Caden Smith out on the near hash. Here's a rollout and a throw toward the end zone. Incomplete.
Wow.
Great play made by Brady Farnan of Maryville. He was just waiting there.
Was big.
Yeah, it looked like that had a chance to get there, but Farnan just played his position and knocked it away from Drake Reese for the incompletion.
Big play there. He went up high, skied for that. Basketball team would love to have him doing that on the court, wouldn't they?
I'm not sure if he was even thinking this, but if he was, he's a smart football player.
Oh, that's number 8, no 6.
You don't want to pick that ball off because if you do, you get the ball at your 1. The fact that he knocked it down saved his team about 25 yards of field position.
Right. Yeah, and that's all you want to do, and those are things you're reminded of in practice every day.
There is a rollout and a throw against the sideline. Tipped out of bounds. That was anytime you see a tip,
you think tip
your heart
ball.
skips a beat. Yep.
Score
Both
update,
sides.
Tom. Score update. Who do you think just scored? Who do you think just scored?
Is it Mid-Buck again?
Southwest.
Oh, wow.
20-14. They're another program that's kind of been like Mid-Buck, right? Just been there knocking on the doorsteps for several years. This might be their year to win that state title.
There's a handoff coming left side, spinning out to the 30-yard line.
22-14. They got the 2-point conversion.
It's Connor Weiss.
Saw that.
Let me give you a score here. Ray-Peck leading to Smet 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. That's the Class 6 state title game.
Are we going to see this side of the state start? It seems like there's not as many state titles on this side of the state as there is on the other side. That'd be a nice switch this year, wouldn't it?
Would. 3rd and 6. Handoff, cut back, and first down, I think, depending on the spot. Yeah, they're going to give him the extra yard and the first down on the cutback run to Connor Weiss.
10:41 to go in the half. You got a special halftime guest.
I do.
He's a coach.
My old color analyst at Trenton High School, Quentin Albright. The head coach of the Maryville Lady Spoofhound Hoops Squad.
Serena Sundell going to K-State next year.
Handoff, stuffed at the line of scrimmage. She will learn how to sing and play Wabash Cannonball.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's a fun song. Hey, I'm always impressed with the Hound Pound PA system. They don't have a PA system. They have a 97 DeVille van with speakers on top of it. They just pull it up.
2nd down and 8. Weiss takes the football, sprinting it right side. He gets an angle, cuts back to the 44-yard line, gain of 5.
Looked like we were going to have a couple of scores back-to-back there by Maryville, but not happening. 9:47 to go right now with that 7-0 lead still here, and this game is far from over, Tom. You're having to earn every inch, aren't you?
No question about it. 3rd down and 3. Sort of 3rd down and shorts that decide football games. Hounds up by 7. Short drop, slant pattern, caught. 45-yard line, broken tackle into the secondary, spinning at the 40 and knocked down at the 38-yard line. Fumbling the football at the end of the play was Preisinger, picked up by Cassville, and the Wildcats have it. Preisinger lost the football. as he was a spinning, whirling dervish trying to get extra yards. Quarterback came in, knocked the ball out of there, and Cassville gets the ball on the turnover.
I was getting ready to just talk about the secondary coverage, Tom. Just a great coverage they had to keep that thing from blasting. You know, that two-tier type defense. But, man, even better, they got a turnover. Wow.
So the ball goes back over to Cassville. It's turning into almost a game like last night.
I was getting ready to say that.
Yeah. Defensive-minded, turnovers both sides, a field position sort of game. Yards tough to come by.
Just don't see the 5 wide here in this one, like we saw last night.
There is some truth to the fact. I mentioned this in the first quarter. Worth a mention again. You see teams that just score a lot of points against inferior competition when you look at their resume. But if you're going to make it this far, there's a big, big truth to defense wins championships. And you make it this far because you got good defense. We've seen that the last 2 days and nights.
Yeah.
All 4 defenses we've seen have been stout. They give up nothing easy.
A lot of times, Tom, these are your state championship games, you know? Sometimes your semifinals are or even sometimes even your district championships.
Second down and 9. Handoff, tackle in the backfield.
There was a few years ago, Tom, great stop there where Maryville beat Chillicothe in the district title game and didn't really have anybody else ahead of them. They just kind of walked over everybody even through the state championship.
I remember
game.
that, and because of the rivalry, the fact that Chillicothe had a
beat them during the regular season too.
That was the game that you looked at and said, if you're Maryville, that's the game where we need to go on the road and get a victory, and they did over at Gerlit Memorial Stadium, and that really just served as a slingshot for all of November.
Yeah,
Third and 15.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes your state championship's not your true state championship.
Little slant pattern, looking for a bubble screen. Up the middle and getting close to the first down.
Cassville starting to gain some momentum on the ground.
I bet you Coach Parnell goes for it. 4th and 1 from the 48.
Well, they've picked up probably 100 yards here in the last couple possessions, haven't they?
Not quite that many, but we're starting to see some plays that are loosening up the Maryville defense. Checking in for the Spoofhounds, big number 73, Jackson Ozane. Checking out for Cassville is Brett Cooper.
The Coop.
4th and 1, sink with the wishbone backfield. Hand off and stuffed in the backfield as Maryville takes over possession of the football is Jericho Ferris. Ferris is a big, strong running back, but he's not going to win that battle with 3 Spoofhounds. It's a line of scrimmage game, and Maryville dominating the line of scrimmage with that D-line.
And this is where it pays to have the years of experience the Spoofhounds have of making it to the state title game. You've been there, you know it. These kids have seen. They were in middle school when they saw the high schoolers win a state title. You've been around that whole environment for years, Tom.
Last time I was at a Maryville state championship game, it was about 5 miles south of downtown St. Louis. The familiar environs of the Hound Pound are a lot better for Maryville. Here comes the pitch, and it goes all the way back. Here's the pass down the left side. Incomplete.
I wish we would have had a camera on.
Toss back, and
I wish we would have had a camera on the fans right in front of us. And you heard the O, but you should have seen it was kind of like the O wave. They were waving.
Wilma's going to be sick when he thinks about that play in the morning because that went right through his hands.
It did.
Now, he wasn't wide open, but the pass was where it needed to be, and Wilmas couldn't reel it in. 2nd down and 10. That's going into the deep portion of Coach Webb's playbook. 2nd and 10. Hand off, banging off the blockers and tacklers and getting a couple was Connor Weiss. It'll be 3rd down and 8. And what you got to figure is 4-down territory here for the Hounds.
Why not? You're leading. You're up 7-0.
And you got a defense that's playing great guns.
Hey, when's Top Gun ever going to come out?
I'm waiting for it. Well, nothing's coming out in 2020.
Yeah. Hollywood may reinvent itself.
Hand off Weiss. Cuts back 40. Flag on the play as he's down to the 38. That'd be about a yard short of the 1st down, but I think Cassville's pretty confident that flag is going to be a hold of some sort against the Spoofhounds.
6:01.
holding Maryville.
6:01 to go in the half. Still Southwest Livingston County up 22-14, Tom. You take care of the other one.
42-0, Mid Buchanan over Adrian.
What about Ray Peck?
That's an excellent question. I'll know when I find it. Blair Oaks leads 21-6 in the other Class 3 semifinal going on right now.
That's who will be in the state championship game, Tom.
Against this winner next week. 3rd down and 13. Maryville, good pocket. Throw through the middle. Cox, diving catch near the 20 by Kreisinger. He had that fumble last series. Made up for it there with a good catch in traffic. A gain of 28 yards and a Spoofhound first down. Yeah, Blair Oaks 21.
Back in. Oh! Almost laid out there.
They went fast huddle on me. Blair Oaks 21, Cardinal Ritter 6. Score of that game that we just gave you. Second down and 10 from the 20. Handoff Weiss, and he stopped after a gain of 1.
You know what impresses me, Tom, about the smaller town athletics is the amount of media that shows up to these games. Look over there. I mean, you don't see that in the city as much.
Looks like press row at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's really encouraging.
3rd down and 9. Split backs. And the double handoff. Racing it right side, spinning against the grain, and going back to the 15-yard line is Cade Wilmus. And it'll be 4th down and about 5.
4th down and 6 for Maryville.
4th and 6.
4:58 to go in the first half of play. Maryville scored on a 45-yard strike from Drake Wilmus. Drake under center. Takes the football. Good time, throws it flat. Oh, right through the hands of a wide open
That could have been
Wilmus.
dangerous right there, man. You had big number 10 or 11, 10 and 11 right there in the background. That thing goes one way or the other.
Yep.
Either one of them would have got that.
Yeah, Schellenberger and Cooper were both in the area, but Maryville's not leaving the field. Was there a flag? False start against Maryville. Declined. Yeah, Cassville wants the football. That makes all the sense in the world. SEC score from Como, Missouri 41, Vanderbilt nothing. Long season for Vandy.
Yeah. You know, they had, who was the coach who was there that had him doing well? He's got
Franklin.
a funny last name.
Well, James Franklin was there, and then he left for Penn State.
This guy coached in the semi-pro football league years ago. Woodenhofer, right?
Yep. The handoff going left side, breaking the tackle, turning it up against the Cassville sideline is Zach Kanan. As he is knocked out of bounds.
Good run.
After a gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. Yeah, Woody Woodenhofer, he coached at both Mizzou and Vanderbilt.
Yep.
I think he passed away recently.
Yeah, he did. And then what was that? The old league back in the 80s.
USFL.
Yeah, USFL, yeah.
I missed the USFL.
Can't remember the Tulsa name, but I remember going and watching him coach it.
2nd and 3. Keeper. And getting close to the first down. Stop right about the 26. Right at the first down marker is the big quarterback, Hayden Sink.
4:30 left here in the half, Tom, and still no points on the board for Cassville. You've traveled a lot of miles. You want to get your mileage worth.
Adrian is on the board, but the Blackhawks have a long way to go down at Fawcett. It is Mid Buchanan 42, Adrian 6, 8:10 to go in the second.
And it's not even a running clock yet.
Not till the 4th quarter. Hand off on first down and getting across the 30 to the 31-yard line for an effective gain of 4 yards are the Wildcats.
Did St. Genevieve get bumped up a class last year
Couple
because
of Valley Catholic went all the way to 3. They went from 1 to 3.
Really?
Yep.
They must have grown in school size and then the new kind of multiplier?
Exactly.
Wow.
Brandon Zenner of the News Press reacting to mid-buck. Tweets out 42-0, 1 minute in the second quarter. My goodness. My thoughts exactly. 2nd and 6. Handoff, cut back, and out to the 33-yard line. Not much there, maybe a gain of 3.
And Brandon's here.
Yeah, that's why he's tweeting from here. Yeah, my thoughts exactly, though. 42-0, 1 minute in the second quarter. Mid Buchanan, just a machine.
I like Twitter, but I don't like tweeting.
3rd down. I'm with you on that. Somebody else give me the information. I got work to do. 3rd and 4. Handoff. First down carry.
Ooh!
Big physical carry out to the 39-yard line by Zach Kanan.
What number is that?
23. Kanan goes 215. You got Ferris going 185. He runs like he's 200. And the biggest of them all is the quarterback Sink at 230.
There's a close-up of that boy. There's 23 right there, Tom. Backside of that huddle.
Cassville comes at you with some lumber, and I got to assume that a part of the Cassville strategy, Jim, is lean on you with big people and wear you down by the second half.
Big Ozark bodies. Down there around the Ozarks, aren't they?
Lumberjacks. Pitch going out wide. There's the stop and the throw. It is knocked away.
Wow. Sorry, that was
chance
horrible.
for a completion. Brad Cooper had it knocked away. Great play made out in the flat by Maryville.
Almost knocking away, left that ball kind of hanging in air, kind of like a jump shot in basketball, Tom, and it nearly was caught.
I'll give you an NFL tweet. Detroit's fired their coach and their GM. The loss on Thanksgiving did it for Matt Patricia. He's gone. We mentioned the Lions in pregame.
Is another coach going to help?
Yeah, I don't know. That should be an offside penalty against Maryville. That's a bad spot to be for Drew Spire. He was showing blitz, and he got right to the football, and he leaned over the football, and I think his thought process was, well, rats. He got stuck standing right over the football, and the referee was standing right there, and Drew kind of looked down at the football, hoping that he was still on his side of the line of scrimmage, and he wasn't. 5-yard penalty against the Spoofhounds. 2nd and 6. Handoff coming off right side. Ooh, big time hit, cutting it back and getting knocked down on the double hit was Jericho Ferris. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Maryville's playing defense like Smithville did last night. Fly into the football. They don't play anymore because Smithville's no longer in the MEC. If Maryville and Smithville played this year, I wonder how anybody would score.
We need to go check out that river.
3rd and 3. Handoff looking for yards in the middle. Getting stood up, trying to get to the first down marker. And I think about a half-yard short is going to be Zach Kanan. Coach Parnell and company, decision to make late in the second quarter. 2:03 left to go in the second. I don't know if I'm Cassville here, if I'm going for it, just because of the way the game is being played. I might play field position.
I tell you, Maryville looked like a rugby scrum right there, moving the pile backwards and sideways.
That just looked like some big men seeing who could get a push. They are going to measure. I thought it was about a half-yard short. It's now 49-6 Dragons.
And still not even out of the first quarter?
Every time I blink, Mid-Buck scores.
Well,
feels that way anyway.
Aaron Fritz deserves it, man. He definitely deserves it. Great man. Only guy I know that wears shorts out on a windy and 20-degree day, or I think he'd wear them if it was 20 under.
I guarantee you, Coach Fritz wearing shorts today.
Oh, yeah.
This is perfect shorts weather in his mind. Now they're stretching out the sticks. I think they're an index card short.
Yeah, he said.
An inch? Half inch?
Something like this. I don't know.
You know what? I take back what I said because I thought it was going to be a half yard for Cassville. It's an inch. And I think Coach Parnell's going to be thinking, we ought to be able to get an inch, can't we?
Yep. Crowd is raised and ready to go.
But Maryville's front line, they have got plenty of stops for negative yards today. They're looking for another one right here. Sink, quarterback sneak, didn't get much. He'll get the first down, I think. They shoved him backwards and stopped him at the 35. I think he's going to get not a whole lot, but I think he got just enough on forward momentum to get the first down. What do you think, Jim?
I think it's, yeah, exactly. And also, I got some breaking news. We don't have fake crowd noise here. Our crowd noise is real tonight, Tom, real.
Just take that thing and show all the fans.
That's been the #1 tweet in the sports world, I think, about the crowd noise.
Boy, that's a really hard spot to decide on forward momentum. I thought there was, on the second effort, and there's about 3 or 4 efforts, I thought on second effort he might have got there.
There's a fan right there, man. She is giving it to him.
She wants to see that yard marker.
We're going to see.
Short.
We're going to see some fan reaction here.
There wasn't a whole lot to get there, and it all comes down on the spot because it's close. Now they're going to stretch up to that.
There you go, right there. Look at it.
Got the stop.
She's a happy one.
That's called being engaged.
She wasn't sitting down until that hand went the other way.
If I'm going to go to the Hound Pound on a Saturday afternoon, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to cheer.
I have a feeling she has a child out there on the field. What do you think?
Probably. It's amazing how, grown people can go from interested spectators. You get a child involved, and they're in it. Understandably. So Maryville got the stop. As it's first down and 10. Showing shotgun. High snap. Found its way to Weiss. He gets the 30. Cuts inside to the 25. Down to the 24-yard line for Connor Weiss.
One shoestring away from being to the, what do you call it, the Hound Zone?
Well, I'll tell you what another guy in this position calls it.
What?
The land of the sweet nectar.
Holding against Maryville.
Who's that?
That's Mitch Holtis, the sweet nectar of the end zone. Hold against Maryville.
I kind of like the Hound Zone. What do you think?
The Hound Zone.
It says Hounds.
True.
They couldn't get Spoof in there. They should have did Spoof on one end and Hounds on the other.
It'll be first down.
You'd have to get new templates to do that, though, right?
Yep.
Band, not very big in size, but they are talented. And you probably know the band director. He came from Trenton, Missouri.
1st and 7. Handoff going right side and diving ahead to the 36-yard line, close to another first down is Trey Houghton.
8-man score update, Tom. A minute 59 to go in the half. 30-14.
That's good.
Livingston County Wildcats, Southwest.
So Mid-Buck has 49 points on the board midway through the second quarter, and TJ Runyon has 5 touchdowns.
You think Dave's finding a lot to talk about other than football?
He's going to be efforting. Run left side and cut down at the 31-yard line is Weiss.
With the stop.
You know, I'd like to think I could have figured out that Walker-Weiss thing in the first quarter from just the PA. But I'm glad that Jim mentioned it when he did.
Somebody came in. Somebody was watching and texted somebody.
And said, hey, we switched the uniforms up.
You know, with cell phones today, you don't have a lot of room for error.
Yeah, 2nd and 5, throw left side, knockdown.
Hey, 47 seconds. It'd be sweet for the Spoofhounds to pick up a TD right here. Got to figure out a way to get some points on the board. More points on the board going in the locker room. Maybe high schools will start going up and finding girls soccer players for their field goal kicking duties. It's happened before.
3rd down and 5. Man in motion. And jet sweep is going to go to that right side. Staying with blockers, getting the first down. Diving to the 21-yard line goes Caden Steckline.
41-point 4.
Coach Webb might have got that from Eric Bieniemy and the Chiefs. Steckline playing the role of Tyreek Hill on the jet sweep. Another jet sweep. This one going to Weiss. He cuts it to the 20, down to the 16 for a gain of 6.
Clock stops at 27.8, Tom.
Yeah, so the Spoofhounds are in the red zone, but they need to be aware of the clock. 28 seconds to go. It's Maryville 7, Cassville no score. You're watching the Class 3 States semifinals on UClick TV and Misha.tv.
What are we going to do after this weekend, Tom?
Oh, I'm gonna shift to basketball pretty soon. I should have been in basketball mold already, but they're getting some COVID postponements out to our east.
Yeah, I guess you heard what happened on the other side of the state line. Kisha met last Tuesday. They were talking about delaying the season till like January 10th or 16th, something like that. But they ended up voting on having it. No fans.
That to me seems to be, because I've seen places where there's no masks, and I've seen places where it's kind of half and half, and then I see places where everybody's masked up. There's no continuity.
I'm not seeing any here.
I'm seeing more here.
I'm seeing them on their chin.
Yeah, well, that's what I have.
I will say this: the kids are wearing them. The students at Maryville High School in the fan section are wearing them.
Right. But there were a lot of people masked up at Smithville last night.
Well, different county.
Yeah.
But Maryville has been very strict with theirs. But that's how you enforce it, I guess.
2nd and 5. Here's Drake from the shotgun. Quick handoff. Comes left side with room to the 15-yard line. Staying on his feet to the 10. Then knocked down at the 8.
Clock stops at 21.1.
That clock stops for the first down. That's big.
Ball marked at the 8-yard line. That's good for a Spoofhound.
There you go.
Another shotgun snap, but before the snap, timeout. I think this one going to the Cats. It is. Cassville wanted to talk things over. We're down to 16.8 seconds to go in the first half. Maryville knocking on the door. It is 7-0 Spoofhounds. We're back to the Hound Pound in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Chavez with the Jayhawk Sports Network. And if you would like to have the same historical experience in the same arena that KU, Mizzou, K-State, the Kansas City Kings, Comets, and many other college and pro teams play at, including a Final Four, then Hy-Vee Arena, formerly Kemper Arena, is your place to host your next basketball, volleyball, wrestling, or anything that can be played on a hardwood floor. You could host your next practice, game, or tournament at Hy-Vee Arena for as little as $6 per person. That's right, $6, anybody, anytime. We have all the amenities you need, from team rooms, locker rooms, food court, and team meeting space. That's right, we are open to anyone now. So check us out at HyVeeArena.com or call 816-505-0404 today to book your historical experience.
MTE Office Center in Maryville is a family-owned and operated business. For more than 80 years, MTE has powered local businesses in the office. From furniture, supplies, computer sales, and service, MTE Office Center is the one-stop source for all your office needs. Now offering free shipping on all orders. Visit us at mteoffice.com. That's mteoffice.com.
I'm Johnny Coy, head coach of the St. Joe Mustangs. If you're looking for professional quality, customized wood bat for your baseball player, Walk Off Wood Bat Company is the place to go. All bats are made with prime quality wood, and the options for customization are endless. Gamers, fungos, training bats, they have them all. The Mustangs are excited to have Walk Off Wood as our official bat supplier this season. If we trust our players to swing Walk Off Wood, you should too. Go online and order today.
Your grill master, Tim Jackson, is always whipping up something good at every Spoofhounds home football game. And if you can't find him there at the Hound Pound, well, he's probably at Titletown Grill. With their famous handmade tenderloin, a variety of food options, an expanded drink menu, and several flat-screen TVs, the Titletown Grill provides the best sports viewing venue in Maryville. From Spoofhounds to Bearcats, Chiefs or Royals, they have it all. So wear your team's colors and bring your friends and family to enjoy Titletown Grill. Located at 130 North Depot Street in Maryville, Missouri. Titletown Grill, the place where fans and champions come to eat. Radical Athletic Wear and Fan Radical specializes in custom, one-of-a-kind, 100% sublimated, cut and sew uniforms and fan wear for the Radical fan. There is no limitation to your uniform design. If you can think of it, we can design and create it. Our price includes artwork, and we have no hidden or added fees. Let Radical Athletic Wear be your supplier of quality, custom, one-of-a-kind uniforms and fan wear. Give us a call at 785-764-6346. That's 785-764-6346. Radical Athletic Wear, where we don't tell you what we have, we ask you what you want. And Fan Radical, for the Radical fan.
Life. It's been defined as the continuous, everlasting void of living in a van. And if van life is calling you, then you should check out vandoit.com. Van Do It can be used as a primary vehicle with 7-passenger seating, convertible to a camper van, or anywhere in between. Go ahead, give our site and blog a gander. We assure you, it's going to make you say, you Van Do It. 816-944-2229. Or check us out at vandoit.com.
Welcome back to Maryville High School, the Hound Pound, where the Spoofhound defense has been the story in the first half of play. 10-0 for Maryville over Cassville. 45-yard touchdown strike from Drake to Wilmus at the 6:56 mark of the first quarter. The extra point kick made it 7-0 at Spoofhounds, and a 24-yard field goal by Weiss with 3 seconds to go in the first half gives Maryville, which feels like a pretty comfortable lead in the defensive battle, 10-0 the score for the Spoofhounds. I go back about 20 years in doing this, and one of my color analysts back over at KTTN, KGOZ Radio over in Trenton, Missouri, did great work for me, is Quentin Albright. That's back when he was working at Trenton High School. He now has a pretty good job as the girls basketball coach at Maryville. I ran into your better half before the game, and she said, yeah, you know, we're excited for basketball season, but we still got some football to take care of over here at Maryville. So basketball practice underway.
Yeah, I think we've got the 17-18 practices under our belt so far, and you know, we got off to a little sluggish start. You know, our volleyball girls went down to Cape Girardeau, and they came back with a championship trophy there. So I was without some of my main girls for about a week, but we're back in this full swing right now. We got all of our players, everybody's healthy, and you know, I had our first game canceled, so that was a little bit of a bummer. But we're ready to take the court Monday night at 8:30 down at Savannah Tournament.
I talk all the time about how it can be different sports, and some people are roll their eyes and say, you know what, it's a different sport. I don't know if there's a lot of carryover effect. I think it does. When you're able to find that level of success of a state championship as volleyball did, and a lot of those girls, including Serena, are on the basketball team, what does that do for their confidence level of what they can be as a basketball team here over the next 3 months?
Well, I think success breeds success. And our volleyball girls, had a great season. And then, another one of my starters, Lauren Collins, she went to state in tennis. And, we had a successful cross-country season. And, this has really been a good fall for both the boys and girls sports programs here in Maryville, which is good because these are really tough times right now with all the COVID-related issues. So, anything that we can rally around in dark times is a good thing.
Got a lot of old Trenton Bulldogs over here. You got you and your wife, and you got Tim Gillum over here running the band, and we know what a good band director he is.
We do, and you might remember a young man named Chase Tolson, who happens to be my assistant coach on the girls basketball side. So we're really fortunate to get Chase here. He's a great math teacher and just getting better and better, and I just thank my lucky stars, that I was able to get him on the basketball side, and he's going to do a great job. So, yep.
I'm going to be real sarcastic here and say I think Chase has a kid sister who was a pretty decent player back in the day.
I think so.
And playing at William Jewell, I believe.
Absolutely, and Ainsley has done a great job down there, and I talk to Chase about her every once in a while. That's Tolson family is just a great group of people, and all their kids are great kids, and like I said, we're just really happy to have Chase on board.
So you've been at Maryville now for a number of years, and you've really been doing good work to build up the girls basketball program. Was that a 6 that you flashed?
Yes, it was. This is year
flies.
6. It does.
I can't
Tom.
believe you've been here 6 years.
It has.
The comment is, especially with football, there's something in the water in Maryville because Northwest wins, Maryville wins, but it's a school-wide thing. What have you seen in 6 years at Maryville that just leads to the amount of just overall success, not only athletic success that the school district has?
Well, I think it's an attitude. I think it's a culture. I think success breeds success. I think people around here expect to win, both at the college and here at the high school. I mean, it has the nickname Titletown, and there's a reason for that.
So your team gets to play, and I've done a number of games, and I really love what they've done with Old Kemper Arena and renaming it Hy-Vee Arena and the things that they've done there and making it a multi-level entertainment and just really a place to work out and play games. Your team's going to get a chance to play in that facility this year.
Yeah, we went down there last year, and, Jim did a great job of helping us get down there and setting things up for us. And we saw a really tough California team that I think, by the end of the season, I think was ranked number 3 or 4 in the state. And we were able to take them down by, 15, 20 points. And that was a really big win for us. And, the opportunity to go back this year, I think it's in January, mid-January, we get to play Oak Grove. And, we've done a lot of things around here really to beef up our schedule, and we're really super excited about this season.
You've coached a lot of really good players.
I have.
Going back to your years at Trenton High School, I saw a bunch of them. But I, with all due respect to the Rebecca Capators of the world, because she was a good one, Serena Sundell is a Division I athlete, and she's just really good.
Well, she is really good, and none of that is by accident. She has some obviously good genetics behind her. Her dad, Bob, was in the M Club up in Maryville, both in track and basketball. So there's good genetics there, but that's a small portion of it. She's a really hard worker, and I've been blessed to have a lot of great kids, a lot of great players, and a lot of really hard workers. But there is no one that is going to top Serena, not just in athleticism, but like I said, just the work ethic, the commitment that she makes. She plays on a very competitive summer basketball team, and she travels all over the country. And I had an open gym today, and the first one in was Serena, and she's always first one in, last one to leave. So and she just sets a great example for all of our other kids. So even though she graduates this year, her legacy is going to live on for us.
I saw her as a freshman and sophomore, and she was all skin and bones.
Yeah.
You'd see the athleticism, but she was skinny.
Yeah.
But she's grown up a little bit, just as far as building that body into something that can be Division I level over in Manhattan next year.
Well, it was no secret as a freshman and sophomore, like you said, that one of the things that people would question, could she hold up at that level with her frame? And she's done a great job. She sees a guy here in town, Ryan Lessman, who's the line coach for our football team, and he really gives her a workout. And her brother, of course, is a Division I football player, and he's always been in the weight room. So she takes her attitude from the court right into the weight room, and, nothing that she's done is by accident.
So as you look at your program, it's one thing to say we're going to be good this year because we got Serena. She graduates this year. What are the signs that you see with the program that gives you encouragement that the 2020s, that once Serena graduates, you don't want to go into a rebuilding effort? As far as the future, because there's always athletes coming through Maryville, how does it look post Serena Sundell for this Spoofhound program?
Well, when I took over Tom, the couple seasons before, I think they were like 1-40, 1-45, and I've been blessed to have some great assistant coaches. And then, we struggled for a couple years, and now then Serena came in, and we've gradually gotten better and better. And what we have going on right now, I have a feeling it's going to be continued success. I know when you lose a Serena Sundell, obviously that's going to be a big blow to us. We
you
also
don't replace somebody like that.
Huh?
You don't replace
You don't replace them, but what we do is we have several girls, I think, that can pick up a little bit of the slack. We have Aniston Petlin, who's just going to be a sophomore this year. Riley Vertaler, just going to be a sophomore. Both of those were all-conference and all-district players. We have a complement of other young girls, and Lauren Collin and Ava Dumpke and Emily Casseville and Kennedy Kurz and Hallie Buck and Abby Swink. And, we have an 8th grade class here at our middle school and also over in St. Gregory's, and I've watched several of their games this year. And we have 28 girls right now playing basketball at the junior high level between those two schools. So we're going to have greater depth of talent in our program in the years to come, though we won't have that one, I guess you say, superstar.
Right. How's the MEC looked in your eyes this year?
Well, the MEC always looks good. It's a very tough athletic conference. I think, Benton is going to be a very good basketball team, and St. Pius is, we had to go through St. Pius last year in order to advance as far as we did, win the district title and the game after that, and then drop that heartbreaker to Macon. But, the MEC is going to be tough. You saw Lafayette shut someone out 61-0, so,
that's
you're doing something.
That basketball very often. Yeah, that's a rough 4 quarters.
Boy, yeah.
Not seeing the ball go through the hoop.
Boy.
What are the things that you're doing? I know this is the $1 million question in 2020, but what are the things that the Lady Spoofhounds are doing to the best of your ability to try to keep COVID-19 away from the program?
Well, all of this came down in March, and we decided that, when we knew that we were not going to have face-to-face summer activities, that we were not willing to just forego our summer. So I arranged basically a bunch of Zoom sessions, and Zoom, there's a word that everybody understands now that a year ago wouldn't, know what it is. But we did a lot of online stuff, and basically what I did is we always opened each one of our Zoom sessions with like a guest. James Arnold, you might recognize that name, came on and presented one time.
Yes.
You might have heard of a gal named Rebecca Capater. She came on and did some work with us a couple times or once. And we brought in some old Spoofhound players from the day women's program. Taylor Gadboys came on one time, and we did those types of things. And then after that, Serena would take over and she would do a ball handling drill, and then Aniston would take over and she would do something. And Riley would do a rebounding drill, and then we'd finish with Serena, and we'd have a 45-minute session to an hour session with basketball in your backyard or in your driveway or in your basement or wherever you could carve out a little space to get a ball in your hand. So we just tried to make sure that we didn't have a lost summer.
I worked over in Hiawatha, which is diehard K-State territory, back 98 to 02 before I moved over to Trent for my radio career. So I know how diehard those Wildcat fans are over there, and the way they feel about their school. Is it kind of that same feel that Serena had when she went over to Manhattan and met the coaching staff and everything? Yeah,
I think so. There were several programs around that recruited her very hard, and I just think she felt that there was a good family atmosphere. Obviously, it's a Big 12 program. She wanted to get into a Power 5 conference, and she was able to do that. And, K-State's looking for shooters, and Serena's a shooter. K-State has that big guy, I think, Aoki,
right,
maybe on the inside that's just a beast. But, I was talking to Serena's mom today, and, K-State played yesterday, and they only shot, I think, 5 for 33 from the three-point land. So I think they have recruited with the idea of they got that power inside game, but you can take that away if you can't hit the outside shot. So I really look forward to seeing Serena and how she progresses there at K-State, and I think she's going to be a tremendous asset to their program. Yeah, it's been years and years since I've been there. I think there was a Class 2 state final game that I called from Bramlage. It's one of my favorite gyms, built right into the ground. So when they call that thing the the Temple of Doom, there's a reason for that. It gets loud in there. Well, I've never been there, so. You'll probably go and see her play a couple of times. Well, I guarantee that I will go and see her a couple times. I owe the Sundells. They've been very good to me. Serena has been a great player. Sometimes you have a great player like that, and they don't necessarily have big ears, but Serena is all ears, and and she's very, 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 very coachable, and I think that is a tribute to great parenting.
Hey, before we get to the third quarter, put your football coaching hat on here. Maryville, as I said, both these programs, they kind of had some bumps and some things like that, weeks 1 through 6. Once you got to about mid-season, both teams have really turned it on, and it's not the first time we've seen that out of Maryville. What are the things that Coach Webb does with this program that really impresses you as somebody also with a coaching pedigree?
Well, honestly, he believes that tradition never graduates, and I think that's a really big deal. There was a couple years ago we lost a senior class, I think in 2017, that was like 22 players, and everyone's going, oh, well, okay, that's the end of Maryville's era of domination, and that's not the way it has been. He's a great coach, and he believes in culture, and his kids buy in.
Yeah, it reminds me of Hamilton a lot. You'll figure some things out in the months of September and October, but once you get to November, it's time to strap it on and win.
Yeah, I like Iowa State and Texas yesterday. Like Texas had like 50-some 4 or 5-star recruits, and Iowa State had 4. Sometimes it's not just the athlete you put on the field. Sometimes it's what you get out of that athlete, and Coach Webb gets everything he can out of his kids.
I heard Stan Weber on 810 this morning on my way over, and he was talking about the very same thing, how so often you see pedigree. 5-star athletes, 4-star athletes say, well, that team impresses me more because they got the 5 stars on there. But you get a team like Iowa State that got decent talent, but Coach Campbell really has them bought in.
Yeah,
and
he really does.
That's big when you get the culture like that.
Yeah, coaching makes a difference.
Absolutely. Good luck this season.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for joining us.
Jim.
Cassville trails Maryville here at the break by a score of 10-0. We'll take a brief timeout. Third quarter right around the corner from the Hound Pound as you're watching the Missouri Class 3 semifinals on UClick TV along with Misha.tv.
Back here live on the U, Tom Johnson, Jim Bly, and go over some halftime scores for you here.
I got a first quarter score if you want to go with that.
56-6, Adrian still trailing big in that one.
See, I got a Pius score if you want that.
Here's one, Derby pulling it out as the half went on, 42-21. Still the powerhouse program down there in what part of Kansas, I don't know. But
it's close to Wichita.
It's a long ways away.
Yeah.
Of course, this one's 10-0 at the half. Raymore Peculiar 7-0 at the half against DeSmith. That's a good game right there, Tom.
Yeah. Let's see. St. Pius and Palmyra. When was that kicking off? Do you know off the top of your head, Jim? I can find it here. That was a 2 o'clock. So
it was 2 o'clock at 7-0.
Yep. 7-0.
6:02 in the first quarter is the last update on that one. And then, of course, the game last night, the only game on this side of the state, Jeff City, Helias 13, Smithville going down in that one to 13-10.
So
Platte County 14, Webb City 7, 4:46 in the second quarter. There was the update on that one.
Yeah, been following this one too. Southwest leaning north. North Andrew had a really good running back by the name of Ecker. He injured in the first quarter, and one of the key running backs for North Andrew, he's on crutches and in street clothes as of halftime.
Yeah.
Never like to hear things like that.
No, we saw a bad one last night, and
yeah.
I finally had to take the camera away. It was, it was kind of that Alex Smith moment. Hopefully not as bad as Alex Smith, but they did have to take him off on a stretcher for a leg injury that we're assuming was a leg injury. They had his leg propped up, so.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever. Usually you see an air cast or something like that for a injury of that sort, but I don't know if I ever saw that, but thinking good thoughts for that young man.
Third quarter begins here. Apologize for the audio difficulties there on that field goal drive.
Did you give a Webb City, Platte County update?
Yeah.
Well, okay, 14-7.
Yep. I got them all right here on one page.
Gotcha. You're doing well.
Say I don't have to search.
So Awfully big possession coming up here for Cassville to start quarter number 3. Cassville will receive the opening kickoff of the second half.
And we're underway.
It is driven just into the end zone, just avoiding going out of bounds as Maryville, with that pretty stiff wind blowing from the south behind them, boots the ball through the end zone to put Cassville at the 20-yard line.
A lot of just there. I'm getting hungry, Thomas.
There's some options in Maryville.
I don't think we'll have a running clock here.
You think?
I don't.
I'm pretty secure on that, too.
Free kick out of bounds against Maryville. It'll be 1st and 10 for Cassville from their own 35.
So Cassville, really physical running team, and that's the sort of team that this Maryville defense matches up well against. Maryville throwing that shutout for one half. Case in point, it's going to be maybe a line of scrimmage battle here in the second half as the handoff comes off right side, cutting against the grain and being whacked for a gain of only 1 for Cassville. Now, there was a 15-yard penalty there against Maryville on the kickoff. Instead of at the 20, the ball is at the 35. It's either a penalty or the ball went out of bounds on the kick. I thought it made the end zone. I might have been mistaken.
Tom, it's going to be hard. If Maryville's defense plays like it did in the first half, it's going to be hard for Cassville to get any points in this game.
2-step drop and an out pattern. The ball is caught at the 40-yard line. That was a great hands catch.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. At some point, too, you can tell that Cassville's game is physical running, but if you're running between the hash marks and you're running into a brick wall, eventually, if you're Cassville, you got to try to loosen up Maryville a little bit. Little 4-yard pass there. Great catch by Cooper. Makes it a 3rd down and 5 for the Wildcats. Third and 5. Power shifting to the right side of the line. As we get a whistle. Now the tight end on that right side of the line kind of fell forward in his stance. He got back reset, but I wonder if that's what the referee or the umpire saw on the near side, and I think he did. An offside against
the guy down there in the green saw it. I heard him.
Yeah, that's the old lean forward and just lost his balance. Hard to hide that when you're on the right side of the line and everybody on the Maryville sideline and stand saw it. 3rd down and 10 after the 5-yard penalty. Only the second penalty against Cassville in this ballgame. 5 for 10 yards. Pitch going out wide right. Racing to the 40 and stopped after a gain of 5 with a flag on the play is Jericho Ferris. Now, Cassville has been penalized more times than twice, but more often than not, Maryville has chosen to not accept the penalty, decline. Maybe the case on this one as well. We'll see. Yep, declined. Maryville takes the 5-yard run by Cassville. That makes it 4th down and decision time for the Wildcats. And a punt coming up for Cassville.
Kind of in their story.
Much like last night where you saw Elias, a team that just rolled up points in the regular season, and points were tough to come by. This Cassville team, they've not dealt with a defense that has done this to the Cassville offense all season long. Cassville scored against everybody.
Well, we saw that last night with Elias as well.
Absolutely. Kick to the 35-yard line. Going to take a little bit of a Wildcat roll to the 31 off of the boot by Drake Reese. Now these are the point totals for Cassville this year. 13 against Mount Vernon, 22 against Marshfield, 47 against Nevada, 43 against Logan Rogersville, 20 against Lamar, 50 against Monette, 42 against Seneca, 42 against East Newton, 44 against McDonald County, 35 against Mount Vernon, and 41 against Buffalo.
Sounds like Mike Harbert had a fun game, though.
Yeah. That's not necessarily the 40s, 50s, and 60s that Elias is putting up, but that's pretty potent offense. Right now with a 0. Handoff. Behind his lineman, 40-yard line, stepping out of bounds at the 44 is Connor Weiss. Connor never really put his foot into the ground and went that time. He just kind of hung behind his lineman and let his big guys do the work.
There you go. If you want to see the Southwest score there you go.
Oh, there we go. Wow. I think a state championship may be coming to little old Ludlow Mo.
In Livingston County. That's got to feel kind of, I know it's not Como, but to be able to do it there with probably more fans than you would have had if it was at Como.
1st and 10, handoff splitting the middle, right into the secondary, banging into a tackler and rumbling to the 36 is Maryville's Trey Houchin.
Great run there.
I think Houchin was looking for contact. He went about 15 yards and he saw a defensive back and he laid the boom. Face mask against Cassville at the end of the play for a 15-yard penalty.
Double
whammy.
Yep, double whammy there.
Mid-box 63, Adrian 6. A thumping. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter down in Fawcett.
A thumping?
That is a thumping. It is Pius 14, Palmyra nothing. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter in Kansas City. Throw into the left flat, caught by Weiss. He's knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line, a gain of 6. Not a fancy pass play, but very effective. If you're Maryville, you'll take 6 yards on a play all afternoon long.
Yeah, back to Class 3. They spent a couple years down in Class 2. They didn't win a state championship when they were Class 2, did they?
I have to look back at my notes. Another pass to Weiss. He has it 15-10. He's knocked down at the 8. First down, Hounds.
Let's see. They may have won one in that time.
I think they did.
Yeah, it probably was against Blair Oaks.
Yeah.
The year that.
First and goal from the 8. Here's the handoff to Houchin. He's to the 5 and stopped there after a gain of 3. It's the same thing I saw last night. Most often than not, if you're running into a tackler in this one, you're not breaking that tackle. You're getting stopped. The tackling's been really good today, and it was really good last night down in Smithville. All teams involved impressed by the defense. Second and goal from the 5. Drake flanked on his left by Weiss. Houchin to his right. Drake hands it off to Weiss. Jet sweep. He gets the 5, cuts inside, and he backs into the end zone. Touchdown, Spoofhounds. Like a magician. I don't know how he got out of that box. He got to the 5 and he spun, and somehow, running backwards, nobody touched him. A 5-yard touchdown scamper by Connor Weiss, and Maryville's lead is now 16-0.
Yeah, opening up the second half strong. It took them a little bit of time to get some points on the board in the first quarter. But
Connor Weiss with the extra point. Snap high. Hold is down. The kick is on the way. It's short, but long enough and straight enough. It's good. 17-0 the lead for the Spoofhounds over the Wildcats. 8:46 to go, third quarter from the Hound Pound. We're back with more Class 3 semifinal football in just a moment.
MTE Office Center in Maryville is a family-owned and operated business. For more than 80 years, MTE has powered local businesses in the office. From furniture, supplies, computer sales, and service, MTE Office Center is the one-stop source for all your office needs. Now offering free shipping on all orders. Visit us at mteoffice.com. That's mteoffice.com.
Welcome back to the Hound Pound, Maryville High School, where it's been defense, the name of the game for Maryville High School. The Hounds are throwing a shutout at a powerhouse out of southwest Missouri, the Cassville Wildcats. It's Spoofhounds 17, Wildcats no score with 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Well, I'm sure everybody's wondering what's going on with Blair Oaks. That's that's the game. The winner of that game is, I'm sure Maryville wants Blair Oaks again.
End of the first quarter in Kansas City, Pius 14, Palmyra nothing as the kick goes through the end zone. Maryville's liking kicking that direction with that wind at their back.
Find a Blair Oaks score.
We'll look.
Since you're an expert with Twitter.
I'm an expert with Twitter if I hit my buttons correctly. Blair Oaks 27. Opponent 6. The opponent being Cardinal Ritter.
So it sounds like it's going to be a rematch from week 1, Tom.
I
just won't be at Central Missouri University.
Nah, and I would bet Maryville would love that opportunity to play him again.
Have to ask Coach Webb that in his postgame.
Yeah, there's a run through the middle to the 26-yard line. Falling forward for a gain of 6 is the big quarterback from Cassville, Hayden Sink. Now, if you're the Spoofhounds, you don't want to fall into the pattern that Jim and I fell into there. You start looking forward to the championship next week. There's a long way to go in this one from the Pound.
38-14, Southwest Livingston County. 16 minutes and 31 seconds away from a state championship. If that holds.
A great moment for that school district. They've taken a lot of lumps in athletics through the years.
14-14. Pius.
Run left side, getting room, 30-yard line, first down, and stepping to the 33 is Cassville, Zach Kanan.
I meant Platte County, Webb City, 14-14, 25 seconds to go in the second quarter. 14-0, Pius, as you said, 9:56 left in the second quarter on that one. Those both, I guess, were 2 o'clock starts. I would have rather had a 2 o'clock start. I'm a little tired today.
I'll throw an idea out there after this play. First down and 10. Keep around the left end out to that 39-yard line. Goes the big quarterback, Hayden Sink. I don't know if I would assume Michigan could do this, but why not have all of the games today kick off at the same time? So scores are getting updated at generally the same time on the clock as other scores.
Mid-Buck 63, Adrian 6. Still not in a running clock yet.
As I like to say, a lot to a little.
What's Riggert saying in this broadcast today?
Dave, good luck with filling, buddy. Filling time in the third and fourth quarters. Going to be some running clock down in Fawcett. Good quality run through the middle. A gain of 4 yards on the dive play to Jericho Ferris.
Did you do that game with me 2 years ago at Mid-Buchanan?
No, I've never been to Mid-Buck. I did the game at Hamilton where the wind blew about 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Was that the one they lost?
That's the one that Hamilton lost.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
And then the next week, no, because they played it. They lost at Mid-Buck. I was there. I did that game.
3rd and 2. Handoff middle and stopped a yard short of the first down is the fullback, Kanan. I think you got to go for it here if you're Cassville. You got to find a way to get points, and Cassville just not able to loosen up this front 7 of the Spoofhounds, Jim.
No, and I said that earlier. I mean, they're just having a hard time.
It's not as if Maryville's getting 3-yard, 4-yard losses, but everything that Cassville's trying to do is so congested.
I'm going to be hearing those clappers in my sleep tonight.
4th and inches. Sneak to the 45, 46-yard line. Easily got the first down. I think that was just using the size of Hayden Sink. If you got a 230-pound quarterback, sneak it and lean on people. First down and 10, Cassville.
Ball marked down at the 46-yard line in Cassville territory. First and 10 for the Wildcats from there.
I'm trying to remember now Mid-Buchanan's trip to the semifinal from 2 years ago. I don't remember the specifics of it. First and 10, roll out by Sink. He's under pressure, throws late. Oh, almost intercepted. Oh, my goodness.
I remember Coach Aaron Fritz going for 2 instead of the tie, I believe it was, and lost that game at Mid-Buck. Well, North Andrew able to get some points on the board now. It's 38-20, 2:06 left in the third. So, little rally there.
8-man games are wild.
I would never count an 8-man game done.
No. Unless it's 80-20 with 4 minutes to go, then yeah, it's done.
It may end up being 80-20
to 45. 2nd and 10. Sink looking for the bubble screen. He finds it and stopped at the 49-yard line. That was well done by Maryville. That looked like it had a chance to pop. Brett Cooper brought down after a gain of only 3. Caden Steckline came in from behind and whacked him right in the kidneys.
3rd down and 6 for Cassville.
How many yards would you say Cassville has earned today?
Probably 75, 80. Not a whole lot. Tough sledding for Cassville offensively. 3rd down and 7, 4:45 to go in the 3rd. Sink throws it. Not a pretty pass. He's looking for the stop and the out, and he threw it right into the dirt at the 45-yard line. 4th down and 7 coming up for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and this is one thing their offense is not used to, as we said. Putting up a lot of points throughout the year this year.
Well, you can tell Cassville's thought process offensively is we're going to block better than you, and we're going to run the football against you. Cassville's problem is that the offensive line is not blocking better than the Maryville D-line is playing, and there's the problem if you're the Wildcats. Here's the punt by Cassville. Hits that wind. It just kills it at the 20 and takes a Maryville bounce back to the 22-yard line. That's where the Spoofhounds will take it. 1st down and 10 with 4:35 to go in quarter number 3.
Maybe boring, but do what Maryville does best. Run the ball, eat up some clock, score some points.
Start wearing down Cassville's defense.
But you got to score points. Or you've got to play smart, at least.
Correct.
We saw it last night.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you don't have to score points, but you're not going to turn them down if you're Maryville.
No.
It's almost as important for Maryville just to run clock and keep the ball away from Cassville. Every second that goes off the clock now is to Maryville's advantage.
Into my bellies. I'm hungry.
You always get hungry at the end of football games.
Well, just once during the day.
I'm sensing a trend.
Afternoon games I do.
Handoff, jet sweep. Chopped down after a gain of a couple.
That wasn't a twin engine sweep.
No,
that was a jet sweep.
No, that was a jet sweep. Jet sweep with a cut back to Weiss. He gains 2 out to the 24-yard line. 2nd down and 8 for the Spoofhounds with 4:18 to go in the 3rd. A lot of teams try that jet sweep. You just don't see it with the speed of Tyreek Hill on Sundays.
No.
Oh, come on.
Somebody.
Flag on the play. Dead ball. False start against Maryville. So Maryville called for the 5-yard legal motion. Class 6 state championship game, Jim, midway through the 3rd quarter. Raymore Peculiar 14 to Spet, no score.
Raymore's the real deal this year.
Another school with really good athletics. High snap, going to be chased all the way down to the 5, and diving on it at the 3 is the quarterback, Connor Drake. It's a smart play by Connor. You don't want to give up the turnover. You're probably going to have to punt if you're Maryville now getting behind the sticks. You just don't want to give up the ball inside your 10. So high snap, really the first time we've seen it all today, Jim, where Maryville shot itself in the foot.
Yeah.
We're still up. Wake up. We're good.
So 3rd down, and pick your small town in Nottoway County. Since North Andrews playing in that 8-man title game, 3rd down in Rosendale.
What's Rosendale?
That's where North Andrews is located.
Okay.
So run out to the 5-yard line, and knocked down there was the Spoofhound running back, Weiss. So this may be Cassville's best opportunity. Cassville should get great field position. Maryville's going to punt the football away from their own end zone. The only good news from Maryville is that the punter does have the wind at his back. Say a good 10 to 20 mile per hour wind straight out of the south here in central Nottoway County. Here comes the punt for Maryville. It's a bouncer, grabbed and then booted away. And what a kick. It's going to all the way to the 40 and out of bounds at the 37-yard line. I tell you what I think was awfully close to happening there, Jim, and I'd love to see a replay of it. When the punter grabbed that football off of the hop, his knee was really close to touching.
Yeah.
If his knee goes down, it's a safety. I don't think his knee touched, but it was close. It's high school football, not the pros, so if your knee touches, you're down, and it was close.
There you go. There's the last touchdown. Well, that was just the pass.
Look at it. Heave and a prayer, and it found its mark. 1st and 10. Pitch goes out wide. Looking for that angle, cut back, and diving out to the 47-yard line for a gain of 8. On an effective first down carry is senior running back Jericho Ferris.
I don't mind doing natural grass games during the day, but at night you just pulling all the browns out of the grass, and this doesn't look very good on film. If you've ever noticed that.
Yeah, the M here at Maryville, black and yellow,
almost looks burgundy kind of.
Yeah. I guess they're using the green on the field for the green. Handoff coming left side with decent room, getting to the edge, breaking a couple of tackles out to the 45-yard line. Ripped down there in Spoofhound territory is Zach Kanan.
Still sideline yardage, though, not really going straight up the field, not able to find anything. They're able to get those 4 or 5 yard, maybe 6 yard gains, but can't break it.
The strategy here by Cassville is sound because everything inside the hash marks, it's like running into an elevator shaft. There's just nowhere to go. Everything that Cassville done, and it's not like Cassville's ripping off 20, but Cassville's having more success getting it outside on either the run or the pass. 1st down and 10, Wildcats with 1:58 to go in the quarter. 17-0 lead for Maryville. Here's the pitch to Ferris. He'll get a cut back down to the 41-yard line. Gain of 4 is 2nd down and 6. This almost feels like if you're Cassville, you got to get points on this drive, don't you, Jim?
Yep. You have to get them here.
Look at it from the Cassville perspective, you need points on this drive. From the Maryville perspective, that means if you get a stop, you're looking real good to get a W.
Well, you can get a touchdown here. You later on in the game get an onside kick, and you find some other way to get another touchdown. You're walk-home winner, right?
Split back behind Sink. Hand off, straight forward to the 39, gain of only 2. And that's been the issue in between the hash marks. There's just not a lot of room there for the Wildcats. 2-yard run and then rip backwards with Jericho Ferris.
We are into the 4th quarter in Chillicothe. Southwest Livingston County still with a neat lead over North Andrew, 38-20. You were saying one of their key running backs got hurt in the first.
Yeah, for North Andrew. We know a lot of coaches with Southwest Livingston in their blood. Eric Fairchild, Brian Upton.
Yeah.
3rd and 4. Pitch goes out wide to Ferris. Hits the angle, gets the first down to the 30. And he's knocked out of bounds near the 20.
You're forgetting about the Lady Wildcat coach, Julie Bothwell.
That's right.
She's had a good run over the years as well.
I think Brian was the one who got that train rolling. And then when Brian moved to Trenton, Julie kept it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Personal foul, face mask against Maryville.
Worth mentioning, too, that with that Southwest Livingston football team, there's a lot of guys from Tyne Avalon and a lot of guys from Hale on that team, too.
Uh-huh. So, it's a co-op now.
Three-way co-op there. Going by the Southwest name, they play in Ludlow, but there's some pretty good representation, some of those small towns to the south of Chillicothe on that football team.
Boy, would Tim Rulo love to have that school merge into Chillicothe. Those Anderson boys that have been through there the last few years.
It might push Chillicothe football up to Class 4, wouldn't it?
I doubt it.
Be a little boost.
Not that much. I think there's...
yeah, that's a pretty small district. You're not wrong. There's a pitch going out wide. Getting to the 10-yard line. Stepping inside, staying on his feet, and driving down close to the 5 is Zach Kanan. We're seeing a little bit more now, Jim, of Cassville breaking a couple of these Maryville tackles, and that's Cassville getting outside, just finding more success and finding room to operate outside than inside.
Yes, sir.
2nd and goal from the 5. I don't think Cassville's going to get points here before the quarter, but Cassville's going to try to hike this. They may be able to get this football hike. 5 seconds to go. Yep, there's the hike. Handoff, rumbling down to the 1. As we come to the end of the 3rd quarter is Zach Kanan. So Kanan sets up Cassville right on the doorstep. We are through 3 in the state semifinals. It's the Maryville Spoofhounds 17 and the Cassville Wildcats no score. We're back with the fourth quarter in a moment on Misha TV and UClick TV.
Grill master Tim Jackson is always whipping up something good at every Spoofhounds home football game. And if you can't find him there at the Hound Pound, well, he's probably at Titletown Grill. With their famous handmade tenderloin, a variety of food options, an expanded drink menu, and several flat-screen TVs, the Titletown Grill provides the best sports viewing venue in Maryville. From Spoofhounds to Bearcats, Chiefs or Royals, they have it all. Wear your team's colors and bring your friends and family to enjoy Titletown Grill, located at 130 North Depot Street in Maryville, Missouri. Titletown Grill, the place where fans and champions come to eat.
$17-0, Maryville with the lead. If you're a Cassville fan watching at home, Wildcats are as close as they've been all afternoon long to getting points on the board. The ball sitting at the 1.
46-20 now. North or Southwest leading.
17-0 here, Maryville with the lead. But Cassville could take a chunk out of that lead on the next one, maybe 2 plays. Maryville's run defense been strong today. Here's the quarterback sneak toward the goal line and in for the touchdown. Goes the big man, the 230-pound signal caller, Hayden Sink. So Sink gets Cassville on the board with a 1-yard keep, and it's 17-6. That quiets the Hound Pound with 11:49. A lot of time left to go in the fourth quarter. Extra point forthcoming for the Wildcats. It'll be booted by Drake Reese, number 13. Snap is down, and the kick is up. It's high, and it is good. 17-7, the Spoofhounds lead down to 10. Big series coming up for both the defense of the Cats and the offense of the Hounds. We'll have it for you next on UClick TV and Misha.tv.
MTE Office Center in Maryville is a family-owned and operated business. For more than 80 years, MTE has powered local businesses in the office. From furniture, supplies, computer sales, and service, MTE Office Center is the one-stop source for all your office needs. Now offering free shipping on all orders. Visit us at mteoffice.com. That's mteoffice.com.
Blair Oaks now leading 42-20 on the other half of the Class 3 bracket. That's Blair Oaks leading Cardinal Ritter. Battle between Jefferson City and St. Louis. 42-20 midway through the third quarter for Blair Oaks.
What did they say that score was? 42-20. Blair Oaks.
The ball is down at the 40-yard line, and the ball will be booted away here by Cassville down to Maryville.
Well, if Maryville does go on to win this, I'm kind of interested to see what Coach Webb has to say with that rematch from week 1, right? Here's one thing about that. You know, when they played them week 1, they had 9 players out, right?
Right.
They didn't show them everything, right?
Well, that's a long time ago, too.
Right.
63-14, Midbuck over Adrian.
Are they in the running clock yet?
I got to think so. News Press tweeting out that the Dragons are playing backups. And then they corrected the score, 63-13, Dragons over the Blackhawks.
We're going to do a little Misha research here. See, I think it was Blair Oaks the last time, or the state championship Maryville had in Class 2.
End of the third quarter, Ray Moore Peculiar leads DeSmet 14-0.
It was the year before Blair Oaks the next year went to Class 3.
Oh, onside kick, ball's grabbed. I think Cassville has that. That looked pretty good. It needs to go 10 yards. I thought he grabbed it just across the 45-yard line. Did you get a good look at that, Jim?
No.
I did. I think it's clean, about 10.5 yards. Yep, 10.5 yards onside kick, and they grabbed it about the 45.5-yard line. That couldn't have been more perfectly done for Cassville if you tried.
I said it. I mean, I didn't think they would do an onside this early.
No, I was thinking it. I didn't think they'd do it, though. Rolling the dice. You do see more rolling the dice in these games, though, because I think in the back of mind, coaches are, hey, you know, we've made it this far. Why not? you got to be aggressive and do things. And there's momentum now behind Cassville. What a brilliant onside kick. That was perfectly done by Drake Reese. There's a stop and a throw wide open down the heart of the field. My goodness, Maryville just avoided the biggest dart out there.
That was a big
wide open, the ball to Brett Cooper, overthrown on the double reverse pass. Ooh. There was not a soul within 20 yards of Brett Cooper.
Unreal there.
If Cassville goes on to lose this game, they're going to be thinking about that one on a 5-hour-long bus ride home. 2nd down and 10. Pitch play. Going out wide right with yards. Dive into the 46-yard line for a gain of 8. Goes Jericho Ferris. Those lanes to run going out wide. They're starting to become more wide open for Cassville. That's a note of concern for the Maryville defense.
I don't think Maryville has. I'm sitting here looking. I went back to 2015-16 and didn't win from there forward, not a state championship in Class 2.
3rd down and 2 for Cassville, down 10, early 4th. Pitch goes to Kanan. He is ahead to the 40 and rumbles to the 36 as he gains 10 yards and a Wildcat 1st down.
We saw it last night, Tom.
So momentum is behind Cassville. Momentum, such a huge thing in high school football. As it is 17-7. Maryville leading. I wouldn't say the Spoofhounds are on the ropes, but this is easily the best consistent play we've seen from the Big 8 West champion Cassville Wildcats all game long. 1st down and 10 from the 36-yard line. Sink with a handoff. Ferris bangs to the 35 and leans forward to the 34 for a hard-earned plunge of 3. 2nd and long, 7 coming up for the Wildcats with 10:45 to go in the 4th. Maryville 17, Cassville 7.
So it was, Maryville has not ever won a Class 2 state championship. Well, they have. It was 2009, but not in recent years. 2017-18, Maryville beat Blair Oaks in the semis. So
Kellen Overstreet, I see, is the wide receivers coach for this Maryville team.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I know they.
He is.
That explains why Webb was there when he got the award. No, I'm thinking of. Kalen's the one that has all those unbelievable records.
Yeah. Went to Wyoming for about a year and a half. Yeah, a school out in the west at elevation.
All those kids from east of here are coming west to work.
True. 2nd and 8. Sink steps into the throw. Incomplete. There was miscommunication there. The slant was being run by Drake Reese. He was inside the hash mark, and Sink threw it outside the hash mark. That's frustrating for Cassville. Reese was open. He had his hands up saying open, and the ball went 5 yards behind his earlobe. 3rd and 8.
Earlobe?
Earlobe. Or if you're wearing a helmet, that'd be your ear hole.
46-26, 7:16 to go for Southwest.
Pitch play going out wide right, cutting back to the 30, staying on his feet. Dippy doing inside to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Wildcats. Making men miss on the way as Jericho Ferris, his biggest run of the night, gives him the 34-yard touchdown scamper. And it's a 17-13 lead for the Spoofhounds. Game on here, early 4th quarter. A momentum surge for Cassville.
Onside kick. And how many plays later?
About
TD.
7 or 8, not many. Ferris on the run. The extra point by Reese to make it a 3-point game. 10:09 to go. A mountain of time here at the Pound. Here's the kick. It's on the way, and it is good.
3-point game, folks.
17-14. If you thought Maryville was just going to run away tonight in the fourth quarter, the Wildcats had different ideas. It's the Spoofhounds lead down to 3. Maryville gets the ball, and we come back after this.
I'm Jimmy Chavez with the Jayhawk Sports Network, and if you would like to have the same historical experience in the same arena that KU, Mizzou, K-State, the Kansas City Kings, Comets, and many other college and pro teams play at, including a Final Four, then Hy-Vee Arena, formerly Kemper Arena, is your place to host your next basketball, volleyball, wrestling, or anything that can be played on a hardwood floor. You could host your next practice, game, or tournament at Hy-Vee Arena for as little as $6 per person. That's right, $6, anybody, anytime. We have all the amenities you need, from team rooms, locker rooms, food court, and team meeting space. That's right, we are open to anyone. So check us out at HyVeeArena.com or call 816-505-0404 today to book your historical experience.
I know this is going to shock everybody. It shocked Jim. Not. Mid-Buchanan did win. That has gone final. 63-13 Dragons over Adrian. St. Pius's lead just before the half shaved to 14-6 over Palmyra. Here's the kick. That is going to go well into the end zone. We got some.
That's how we started the game.
Strong legs today.
That's how we started the game right there. So it's looking like there's only 6:14 left in Chillicothe, with Southwest Livingston County leading 46-28 over North Andrew. Sounds like they may have their first state championship in school history in football. The girls never got one.
No, they didn't. They came close, but they never did.
So
had Mercer from that neck of the woods win one a couple of years ago.
Right,
You know, Coach Owens has returned to the sideline this year.
Where at?
Mercer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
A little bit.
No, it's not.
I think he's a coach deep down, running 5 yards.
I think his wife
Hounds.
said you need to do something with your time. Either that or he has some school board members saying, "Hey, coach, you need to start coaching again." Sierra Michaelis, I wonder if she'll help him out any. Where's she at these days?
I was just wondering the same thing. I was going to give you a Class 1 update here. Thayer, Windsor 8. Thayer 6 mid-second quarter. Winner of that game going to play Mid-Buck in the Class 1 state title game next week. That game is being played at Thayer, so that's 13-0 Windsor at 11-1 Thayer. That's not a bad matchup. Combined record.
They're playing the state
24-1.
championship at Thayer, not in Jeff City?
No, that's the other Class 1 semi.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Penalty on that play. Here's a run coming right side for Maryville, and knocked down at the 20 is Cade Wilmus.
Well, regardless how this game ends up, Cassville has really, fought back hard.
Well, they got you had a Maryville fan section that was kind of in party mode in the third quarter, and the nerves have they've gone up a couple of notches in the fourth.
They went from sitting on the back of their seats to the fronts of their seats.
2nd and 9. There's a rollout. Throw to the sideline. Incomplete. Way over the head of Kreisinger, who was the intended receiver. Big play coming up now. 3rd down and 9.
Ray Moore, 23. Just Schmidt, 0. 8 minutes to go in the fourth.
Sounds like Ray Peck's bringing a state title.
Again, Jeff City Elias winning yesterday, 13-10. Mill Valley, 35. Wichita Northwest, 21. Pius and Palmyra all tied up 14-14. 10 seconds to go in the quarter.
Palmyra's made a big second quarter surge down at Pius. 3rd down and 9.
Platte County 17-14 over Webb City.
Drake throws left side, ball caught. First down, Hounds. Big first down conversion to the 33-yard line. Catch made by Kreisinger.
They love their Spoofhound football here, don't they? They do. And don't call them Chillicothe.
I'll try not to.
It's a little harder. Smithville, Savannah, Green,
Yeah.
Or not Green, but.
Split backs. Handoff. Bouncing it right side with room. 40, 45. First down carry as Houchin gains 11. 5 minutes to go in the 8-man final. It's Southwest Livingston 52, North Andrew 28. This game here that you're watching, it has tightened up in a big way. The Blair Oaks game has tightened up too. We'll give you that score here in a little bit. Run through the middle of the 49-yard line, gain of 4. So Blair Oaks 42, Cardinal Ritter 34 with 3 minutes to go in the third.
That's a dangerous one. That must have been a 2 o'clock start.
That's a lot of scoring in not a lot of time. The scoreboard's gone crazy in that one. 8-point lead for Blair Oaks. 2nd and 6 for Maryville. Handoff middle. Broken tackle. And stopped at the 45-yard line. Close to, if not getting the first down, is Houchin.
52-28 now, Southwest Livingston County. I think that wasn't what I said last time.
With the ball at the 45, that's good for another Spoofhound.
Spoofhounds get the first down on the mark on the run by Houchin. Maryville clinging to a 3-point lead, 17-14 with 7:40 to go. Handoff comes left side. Juking his way to the 40, inside to the 30-yard line, and diving to the 28 goes Cade Wilmus.
You know, eating up a lot of clock here, good thing, but you at least need to get a field goal here. At least. Well, no.
Boy, and if you're Maryville, points are good, but if you only get a field goal, it's only a 6-point lead. You're leaving yourself vulnerable to the game-winning touchdown for Cassville. If you're Maryville, you want to run clock and you want a touchdown on this drive. First down and 10 from the 26. Pitch going out wide. There's the cut. Diving it back for a gain of 2 is Connor Weiss. So Weiss picks up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8 with 7:07 to go in the fourth. Spoofhounds 17, Wildcats 14. Along with Jim Bly, Tom Johnson bringing it to you from the press box at the Hound Pound at Maryville High School. 2nd and 8. Pitch goes out wide to Weiss. Finds the block, gets the cut, and he stopped at the 19. Couple of yards short of the first down. Gain of 5 and a 3rd down and 2 coming up for the black, gold, and green.
Black, gold, and green.
According to the uniform today, in that order. Dominant black look on the Maryville home
That's green.
kits today. Is it
Dark
green? Looks black from here. Handoff in the run to the 16. I think that's going to get the first down to Houchin.
I don't know, maybe black. I wouldn't think it would be, though.
It looks black against that yellow, the numerals, but you may be right. It may be, what, a forest green?
Yeah.
I can tell the helmets are green. I can tell you that much.
5:58 to go, folks. We're getting closer.
First down, Hounds in the red zone. A touchdown here for Maryville would be massive. It would have the Hounds pretty close to locking in a spot in the state final next weekend. Handoff comes off left side and stopped in the backfield, getting back for a loss of only 1. Doing decent work there to avoid the 4 or 5 yard loss was Caden Steckline.
Yeah, several layers of defense to get through. Every time he got to one and got past one, he got to another, and he only moved a half inch.
This is where it's just so fun to see what happens in that battle of the lines because you got both teams just motivated. Maryville wants to get a touchdown, and Cassville knows they can't give up a touchdown here. Cassville needs a stop. So every piece of motivation that you have as a student athlete is being shown on the football field right now. 2nd down and 11 from the 15. Here's the handoff coming left side and hit at the 10. Bounce forward to the 8 is Cade Wilmus. I think that was a little double reverse with the change of direction in quick motion. 4:50 to go. It's 3rd and a short 2 from the 7. Tight formation for the Spoofhounds quarterback. Sneak rumbling forward across the 5 and getting down to the 3 is quarterback Connor Drake. Spoofhounds knocking on the door, trying to make it a 9-point lead with 4.5 to go. Drake, another quarterback sneak. Leans it forward to the goal line, and he's down at the 1.
Drake with a carry inside the 1.
And the Maryville fans are thinking what I'm thinking. If you're Maryville, you want the touchdown, but not scoring the touchdown is just going to bleed more clock. So Maryville's happy to run clock here, assuming that the Spoofhounds get the touchdown, and Cassville's trying to keep the Hounds out. 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, they can burn more clock, 2nd and 1.
There was movement before the snap. Drake's going to take it in, but way after the whistle. That's encroachment against Cassville. So an offsides penalty. Quarterback sneak coming. Nope, it's the pitch going out wide to the goal line. Touchdown, Houchin. Houchin gets in, and Maryville gets a huge insurance touchdown with 3:50 to go in the 4th quarter. Ray Houchin takes it in, and the lead is 9. Remember that onside kick that Cassville got earlier, Jim? They may need another one if they want to rip victory out of the jaws of defeat. But this time, Maryville would be waiting for it. Here's the kick. It's on the way. It is slicing left side and inside the upright. It's good. 24-14. Maryville over Cassville with 3:50 to go in the 4th quarter. We're back with the kickoff to the Wildcats right after this.
MTE Office Center in Maryville is a family-owned and operated business. For more than 80 years, MTE has powered local businesses in the office. From furniture, supplies, computer sales, and service, MTE Office Center is the one-stop source for all your office needs. Now offering free shipping on all orders. Visit us at mteoffice.com. That's mteoffice.com.
24-14. Look, right when it looked like...
That guy's happy.
Oh, yeah.
I think that guy's happy.
The Spoofhound. Right when it looked like Maryville was teetering on the ropes, Jim, the offense comes out and gets the drive of the year. 80-yard drive coming off of the kick through the back of the end zone, and it took a lot of time off the clock. That drive might have won Maryville a trip to mid-Missouri's Jefferson City in the state championship game next week.
Here's the one thing I kind of want you to ask Webb is, do you feel like ask him if he felt like he had this caliber team all year long, or did they grow and progress throughout the year? Was it the injuries and COVID that held them kind of to that 10-3 or 11-3 record? Kind of something like that. I think that would be kind of an interesting fact to see how he answers. Don't you?
I think so too. Because it was an uneven start for Maryville, but
they do play up. They do play that tough schedule.
The thing that impressed me about Spoofhounds is no matter what happens in weeks 1 through 7, they never lose sight of the fact that we're going to get better. We're going to get to where we need to be in mid-November.
Yeah, last year was a little disappointing with the last to Lathrop. That was I don't know if you remember the last play of that game. It was very dramatic.
There's a rollout. And the run forward to the 25-yard line. Maryville will take that. That's going to run more clock. Then it's going to help Cassville. Short little run at this point by Hayden Singh. He gains 3.
We had over 10. I'm wanting to say we were pushing 20,000 views on that game last year.
You know, the rough part about that game is in their same district. And I think everybody knows that Lathrop, along with Maryville, both had state championship quality teams.
Yeah, and that was just, you had the O-coach versus his former assistant, and just the storylines. Even Channel 5 picked up on the storylines in that game. 2:58 to go here in this one, though, 24-14.
Pitch goes out wide to Jericho Ferris. He picks up a first down to the 37-yard line. The running attack at Cassville has been much more potent in the 4th quarter, but Maryville, they'll be happy to give up runs at this point. They just want the clock to keep running. And that's the catch-22 if you're Cassville. Your running attack is looking stronger, but it's taking time off the clock. You need big plays right now if you're the Wildcats. 1st and 10. Sink, going to throw it deep. Looking for the home run ball down the left side. Incomplete. Perfect coverage there by Maryville's Brady Farnan, the senior defensive back for the Spoofhounds. .2:38 to go in the contest. Second down and 10 coming up for the Wildcats. Maryville 24, Cassville 14. The pitch, getting yards over the right side and getting close to the first down yardage. Off the wide pitch right is Jericho Ferris.
Down at the 48-yard line. First and 10 for Cassville.
Cassville gets the first down, but the clock is moving again. 2:26 left to go in somebody's season. It looks like right now it might be the boys from Southwest Missouri's Cassville. Roll out by Sink. He's under pressure. Throws, sideline ball caught, and staying in bounds, getting a block, and going down the sideline and going all the way for a 6.
I think he was out of bounds.
Is Drake Reese. Question is, did he step out or did he not? The Maryville sideline is saying he did. And they say touchdown, Cassville. On a throw on the out pattern. 53
it's
yards.
under the scoreboard, but you can see right there his foot.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's out, don't you?
Hard to tell because it's right under the S in Cassville, but
right.
Yeah, well, Cassville might have caught a break. Staying in bounds for the 53-yard touchdown is Reese.
Review it!
I was thinking the same thing that gentleman did, you know? If it
Well,
were
but
college
the
or
only
the
video
pros,
we
you
have,
could
the
review it.
scoreboard's in the way.
Yeah. They need to be talking to Jim Bly if they want to review it.
I think he was out.
So 53
Can't move
yard
the
score. On the pass play.
How many yards?
To Reese. I had 53. I think it's about the 47-yard line where the play came from.
So they missed the... Wow, they didn't get the extra point, huh?
No, they haven't kicked it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go ahead and show the replay again.
Showing that replay.
See, I think he was out right there.
I think he was, too. Well, and there's one of the Maryville coaches there wearing that black, or wearing the gray top. He was right there, and he pointed immediately down at the ground.
Hey, throw that flag. Throw that flag, Andy.
Throw the red flag.
Throw the red flag, Andy.
Come on, block it.
And before the snap, we get flags. Offsides against Maryville. I love the comments from the Spoofhound readers. They're finally going to review it. I don't think that's hit high school football yet.
Okay. Yeah, his momentum. I mean, there's no... If he stayed in on bounds on that, he needs to get a job on the NFL.
You know, he's a ballerina, too. Pretty good balance along that sideline. He made it look good. Kick going up. It's on the way, and it is good. 2:05 to go.
Onside kick.
Reese with the kick makes it 24-21 Maryville.
How many games have you seen where a team has two onside kicks that result in points? Not very many.
Zero. I don't know if I've ever seen a planned onside kick work in high school. I've seen a lot of high school games where a team will kick it into that kind of dead spot with 25 seconds to go.
Final down in Chillicothe, Missouri.
Congrats, Southwest Livingston, 8-man state champions. They said immediately when Misha made the announcement that Chillicothe was going to host the 8-man state final, I think all of Southwest Livingston said, hey, we can win a state title without having to leave the county.
They tried to do it a few years ago whenever they ended up taking the state championships to Springfield. They said they almost all but said they were going to play it in Chillicothe then. 8-man world got upset. They want to be with they want to be where the big boys are.
That's been the fly in the ointment, is that 8-man wants to feel respected and play, whether it be St. Louis or Columbia or just wherever everybody else
But
is.
I want to ask every Southwest Livingston County fan that was win, lose, or draw, did they have a more fun time at Faroe Field last year or with a bigger crowd, you know there was more people that showed up for that game than there was at Faroe because some people weren't going to drive.
I saved their money. I say they saved money on their gas bill. Oh, there's an onside. It's going to be picked up by Cassville. The ball came up and it hit a Spoofhound right in the shoulder. It bounces back to the 46, and Cassville has it again. Unbelievable. Ball picked up by Keaton Schellenberger. Nasty. You talk about a bad hop. You say bad hop in baseball all the time. That was a proverbial bad hop in football. Well, Cassville is up and at him now. 2:04 to go in the fourth quarter. It's Maryville 24, Cassville 21, and we got a dramatic finish coming up here one way or the other from the Hound Pound.
I don't think you can even hear us right now, Tom. That is loud. Loud.
Hayden Sink under center. Pitches it out. Getting to that edge. That's been effective for the Wildcats. Knocked out of bounds at the Hounds' 45-yard line is Jericho Ferris. Ferris is having himself a big fourth quarter on the ground.
This one's been crazy. How's the other one that got a little crazier in the second half? Blair Oaks.
Good question. I haven't seen a Blair Oaks one in a while, but there's been a lot more scoring in that one. Blair Oaks and Cardinal Ritter. Here's another pitch. And knocked down at the line of scrimmage is Ferris, and that's going to run clock. He did not get out of bounds.
That's what I was getting ready to say. If you're the defense for Maryville, try and get them tackled inbounds. Don't allow them to escape to the sideline. You see where they're going right now with it. Where they have been getting the yards is going outside. Even that last the touchdown that was controversial was an outside pass. Went outside and then in.
3rd and 3. Sink with a handoff. Ferris got to the 45, and then he ran into a wall of Spoofhounds.
This is state semifinals, Tom. Did you really expect it was going to be what it was in the first half?
Give me a finish like this every day of the week. It's Maryville would have liked to have it not be this stressful, but it's dramatic. Oh, they gave him a great spot. I thought he was stock cold at the 45, and they gave him the 44.5-yard line. I think they're going to give him the first down, and that has the Maryville cheering section hot under the collar.
Let's listen to the fans.
I thought he was stuck at the 45. First down instead for Cassville on a controversial spot for the Wildcats. Oh, I can't agree with that spot. To the naked eye, I thought it was about a half yard short of the first down. But they gave him a good, at least half yard, if not a full yard, across that 45-yard line. They're going to need to work on the clock here. The clock showing 12 seconds. That has the Maryville fans
No, it says 120 on it.
Oh, 120, never mind.
119.
Okay, now it's running. Here comes the reverse. There's a stop, and the throw deep down the field. Caught at the 5. Touchdown, Cassville.
Wow.
It missed earlier in the game. That time for Cassville. Bingo.
What do you call that play?
The double reverse throwback. And Brett Cooper was wide open. Cassville went back to it, and it hit for a 44-yard touchdown strike. Wow. What a play call by Cassville. There is 1:07 left to go for Maryville now to try to save its season with an offense that's been pretty good today.
Keep, if he misses this, it keeps it a 3-point game, Tom.
Reese with a kick. It's on the way, and it is straight as an arrow and good. It's the Wildcats 28 and the Spoofhounds 24. Do the Spoofhounds have some Maryville magic in them in the next 67 seconds? We'll find out next as we're live from the Class 3 state semifinals.
Your grill master, Tim Jackson, is always whipping up something good at every Spoofhounds home football game. And if you can't find him there at the Hound Pound, well, he's probably at Titletown Grill. With their famous handmade tenderloin, a variety of food options, an expanded drink menu, and several flat-screen TVs, the Titletown Grill provides the best sports viewing venue in Maryville. From Spoofhounds to Bearcats, Chiefs or Royals, they have it all. So wear your team's colors and bring your friends and family to enjoy Titletown Grill. Located at 130 North Depot Street in Maryville, Missouri. Titletown Grill, the place where fans and champions come to eat.
Double reverse throwback is something the Hounds fans do not want to hear again.
It's a brilliant call by Cassville's Lance Parnell, because Cassville had it and just missed on it earlier in the game, Jim, on a play that was more wide open than the play that hit.
It's one of those ones you don't run a lot, Tom. You kind of save it for those moments you need it, and you needed it with 1:07 left on the clock, and that's what we have right now.
Coaching staff had to be thinking that ball is going sailing through the end zone, so Maryville's going to take it at the 20. Coaching staff had to be thinking, as much as Maryville bid on it the first time, try it again. And the other thing that kind of plays into that is, if you're Maryville in that situation defensively, you're biting on everything because you're so fired up.
Yeah, it's 80 yards, call. 100, let's see, 1 minute, 7 seconds. So.
Pass went from Reese to Cooper.
67 seconds, I guess that would be.
Maryville has 2 timeouts left. Clock stops after each first down to reset the marks. There's a rollout. Throw to the sideline. Ball caught there. Stepping to the 40-yard line. Get to the 45. Step into midfield. And all the way down to the 45-yard line of Cassville goes Connor White.
Clock stops at 57.2 to move the sticks.
Well, if you're Maryville, how about that? 35 yards on the first pass play when you needed a play of that length.
Wow. What a ball game this has turned out to be.
Timeout, Cassville.
It looked like it was going to be all Maryville down to the stretch, didn't it?
You know what? Dick Vitale says all the time.
What's
he gets all fired up at college basketball games. He's like, I do this for free.
No, he wouldn't.
I think he might.
Maybe now, but
yeah. He's in his 80s. He probably don't need the coin anymore, but yeah, I know it.
He
I know
could
where he's
donate
coming
it to the
from.
Tom Johnson Fund. How did I get 26, not 28? Okay.
28-24. Maryville now needing a touchdown, 45 yards away.
Yeah, they just bit off
a dramatic victory.
a bunch of it.
Just took 35 yards off of what was 80.
And
5, make it 4 wide for Maryville.
Lost 10 seconds.
Oh, offside there. Oh, they're not going to let him run the play.
That's a free play.
Well, they'd be in the pros, but once you blow the whistle, the play's dead, right? Offsides against Cassville, a 3-5 for Maryville.
They ran a little bit of time there. Should be. Well, you got some guys. We'll let you listen.
Well, the clock says 55.9.
There you go.
You got some Maryville folks that have got some football savvy.
57.2 is what he just said. So now,
first and 5. Maryville.
They put 57.2 back on, so these guys know what's going on.
Let the fans do the play-by-play. First and 5. Here's Drake. High snap, takes it cleanly. Steps in the pocket, throws middle. That ball is incomplete. Drake threw a couple of them high. There was another one. Overshot the mark down at the 15. It'll be 2nd and 5 for Maryville. It's not all bad news for the Spoofhounds. As much as the Spoofhounds would have liked to complete about a 25-yard pass, that does stop the clock. Now, if you're Maryville, get your first down, get the clock stopped, and reset.
Well, if you ever need a hurry-up offense.
This would be it. Drake takes the football, pump fakes, throws it back right side, got something going here. Houchin gets a block, 30-yard line down to the 28.
Clock stops at 45.2.
I felt like, did you kind of see the lane that I thought Houchin might have had going back to the middle, and he kind of stayed outside?
Remember, folks, need a touchdown. Clock's running now.
Here's the snap. And a flag on the play. I'm not sure if Cassville got off the field to avoid having too many men on the field.
Now they got to put the time back again, and now we got to let our guys tell us how much time's left. How much time should be on the clock?
Indeed.
There we go.
It's a false start against Maryville.
Ooh.
Did you see the big boy for Cassville racing off the field?
He must have got off.
He got there before the snap. I was watching him. I didn't think it was too many men, and Maryville moved early.
The only thing good this does is open up a little bit of space for a pass play to get it into the end zone. That's the only good thing you get here.
37 seconds, clock running. Here's Drake. He throws it right side. Ball caught. Stepping out of bounds at the 26 is Freisinger.
Hey, how much time was on the clock when the Chiefs did it against the Raiders last week?
Oh, man. 45 seconds?
I don't know. But
Well, the Chiefs drove 80 yards in a minute.
yeah.
Second down, 7. Ball at the 26. Trips near side for Connor Drake. He goes to that near side. Ball caught. Freisinger, 15-10, steps out of bounds at the
23.5 on the clock.
Wow, what a finish we got here.
This is
what's going to happen.
If they score here, this is the opposite of what happened against Lathrop last year.
18 seconds to go. He didn't get out of bounds. Here's Drake. He's looking left, looks back right, throw, ball caught, touchdown, Spoofhounds!
Wide open.
Wide open in the end zone. Caden Steckline. Steckline got open in the end zone against Cassville as the Hounds ripped the heart out of the Wildcats with 11 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. There wasn't anybody within a country mile of Caden Steckline in the near corner of the end zone.
11.2 to go. I think you can write this. I think you can start carrying the mic downstairs, Tom.
In this fourth quarter, I might feel safer in saying triple zeros. There's the kick. And there was a flag and offsides called against Cassville.
So, free kick.
11.2 seconds still in the fourth quarter. We thought we saw the game of the year last night, Jim, and people in Maryville just said, swing on up our way and we'll show you a game.
We got to thank our official clock operators out there. They didn't hear him.
11.2 to go in the fourth. It is 30-28. There's another extra point. That one is going to be wide left.
Wide left in your score, Maryville 30.
So in the never say never category, Cassville could win it with a field goal. The problem with that, if you're Cassville, is you only got 11 seconds to operate with.
Well, it's going to be it's going to be a rugby type football probably.
So it is 30-28, Maryville. 11 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
I didn't think we were going to be hearing the band song again and the cheerleaders dancing for Maryville after that.
And how about Connor Drake? He came into the season the backup quarterback.
What year is he?
Connor is a junior.
Got to give it to him. He's done a great job. People have said, he couldn't pass like the other quarterback, and boy, did he show he could there.
That was one of the biggest passes in the history of the Maryville program right there.
He'll be feeling that all week and into Jeff City next week if the score holds.
There have been some wacky plays in the fourth quarter on kicks. By far, it's been the best fourth quarter in a pressure game I've seen in 2 decades.
Only 2 games we've done throughout the postseason that have been good.
My goodness.
Last night and this one.
Kick rolled down to the 16. Returned near sideline to the 25 and ripped down there.
6 seconds left.
With Cassville's Jericho Ferris.
There you go. I'm just going to let you call it. Go ahead and go on. When you get outside, just start talking. Take your headset off.
So 6 seconds to go. between Maryville and a trip to Jefferson City
Go ahead and go down, Tom.
to battle for another state title.
When you get outside, start talking into that mic. You're on.
Can I hear you?
Just keep.
Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test.
Well, waiting for Tom Johnson. He makes his way down. We'll take a timeout here real quick.
MTE Office Center in Maryville is a family-owned and operated business. For more than 80 years, MTE has powered local businesses in the office. From furniture, supplies, computer sales, and service, MTE Office Center is the one-stop source for all your office needs. Now offering free shipping on all orders. Visit us at mteoffice.com. That's mteoffice.com.
See down there the team happy. Managers down there. We await Tom Johnson and a coach interview with Coach Webb. You can hear a happy group of coaches down there for sure.
He's somewhere in there. I thought I spotted him.
As we await Coach Webb.
I'm waiting to see. I got Kellen Overstreet on the Matt Webb search here, Jim, so I'm just waiting to see if I can get him. I'm not sure which one he is. Hey, Kellen.
How intense is that fourth quarter? They put up 28 points.
That was very intense. It was frustrating because they kept getting those onside kick recoveries, and we just stayed together as a team, as one, and we just want to win, and that's what we did. We came together and we scored.
That second to last drive, you guys ran the ball. The last one, you guys had to rely on Connor. How good was Connor?
Connor is a very good running back. He's super tough. He'll get hit a bunch of times, and he'll just get back up and run the next play. I'm his backup, but man, he doesn't need many breaks.
How about Connor Drake?
Oh, Connor Drake.
He was really good the last drive.
My bad. He stepped up a lot, especially when Ben got hurt this year. He just filled his role, and he's done a great job, and he's progressed so much as the year's gone on, and it's so good to see where he's been and where he's come, and he took us to the victory that game.
Were you shocked to be so wide open in the end zone now?
I was so shocked. I was in my head. I was so worried that if I dropped this, it would look pretty bad. But I was just shocked because everyone went through with the drags and the posts and whatnot, and I was just sitting in the corner of the end zone. I was so wide open.
When they get that onside kick and they score, were you thinking all about last year?
I was thinking Lathrop all over again. I was like, we better not repeat this again. And it's just I'm so excited to go to state and just hopefully we can get a victory. I'm assuming over Blair Oaks.
You guys took a lot of lumps this year throughout the season. Where do you get that never say die, never crack attitude that is kind of indicative of Maryville football?
That's just being a Spoofhound. We have such a good tradition here and everything, and it's coach calls it sacred ground, and we're not going to lose on this field. It feels really good to win, get the victory.
First trip to the state championship since 2017. What do you feel going into that, and how do you like your chances?
It feels good. Whatever team we're going to play is going to be very good, but we're a very, very tough team to beat when we come together as one, as we have in these playoffs. Everyone didn't think we'd be here, but we came together as one, and when you just love to play and win, that's what happens.
Thanks, King.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just knew I had to come through and make some clutch catches. Our receivers and line blocked excellent. Receivers ran great routes, bought me time so I could throw the ball to them.
That last play, who were you looking for, and how surprised were you when you saw Caden that wide open?
I was looking for Caleb on the in route because I play cover 2, so the middle of the field's usually wide open. But I saw Caden in the corner of the end zone, and I just threw it to him.
How big was that 35-yard play to get you guys off and running on that final drive of the game, get you from the 20 all the way to the 45?
It was huge. It just kept the momentum with us, moved the ball down the field. It was just great.
I think the drive before that, you handed it off maybe 9 or 10 times in a row to get to the end zone. And that last drive was kind of obviously all you. I mean, I guess can you talk about your ability to kind of be both handoff artist and then doing what you did in that last drive?
I mean, yeah. Line gave me excellent time. Coach Houchin called great plays, and we just executed. So what we have to do is what we did.
What are you feeling right now? You just threw a pass in your team in the state championship. You started the season, as a reserve.
It's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, going into that last round, you dream of that as a kid. Send your team to state with less than a minute left. It's unbelievable.
At what point did you see him so wide open in the end zone, and what was your first thought when you saw him flash open at that level?
I was looking right for Caleb. I saw Caden slip out to the back right corner. My first thought was, don't over. And Caden ran a great route and got open for the touchdown.
Obviously, they take that lead after the onside kick. Were you thinking at all about last year? We wouldn't have lost to Lathrop at all. Or what was going through your head when you took the field to start that last drive?
What was going through my head was just, it's my time to shine. I mean, we work on this stuff towards the end of practices, sometimes a 2-minute drill. We just had to go out and execute.
Is that the wildest fourth quarter that you've been involved in?
Yes, it is. It was pretty crazy.
Thanks so much, Connor.
Thank you.
As quarterback of the Maryville Spoofhounds, the knowledge that Maryville had how the season ended against Lathrop last year, and then literally pulling victory from the jaws of defeat. Unbelievable finish here at Maryville today.
No, it's not.
How about that last drive? You see the ball go up the gate, and what's going through your mind?
You know, I saw him wide open in the end zone, and I was like, wow, ball's up in the air. You know, he's wide open. I was like, please catch it, please catch it, please catch it. Hauls it in for a touchdown, you know. We live for those moments. You know, that was one of the best moments of my whole life.
Was that very fast-paced?
Yeah, the last drive? You know, oh, shit. You scared the hell out of me.
Are you doing an interview?
No, I'm not actually. What are you doing? This drive, you know, Connor Drake really pulled through. You know, all season long, we kind of been on him. You know, he really showed out for the last drive, bringing us all the way down the field and scoring. So that was I'm really proud of him.
After you gave up the lead late, what was the discussion that the offense had with so little time left, trying to get that game-winning touchdown?
You know, our coach OC, you know, my dad actually, he came up to us and he was just like, you know, you got to keep on fighting. You know, we have 3 timeouts for a minute left. That's a lot of time left. You know, and we can score as fast as they can. That's what he showed us, and that's what he told us, and that's what we did.
What was going through your head when you took the field at that line? I mean, you probably weren't expecting to get too much of the ball, but what was going through your head when you were out there?
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as I went out there, I was like, well, I think we're gonna lose. You know, but we didn't, and that's awesome. But you know, I'm really proud of Connor Drake for really pulling through that last drive.
Was that the craziest game you've ever been a part of? I mean, 2 onside kicks, a wide receiver pass.
Yeah, hands down, craziest game of my high school career. Yes.
You thinking all about the Laker game when you gave up that second onside?
Yeah, you know, it kind of gave me deja vu, kind of. You know, I really didn't want it to happen again. I can't lose on this field again. You know, I told myself that, and I gathered the troops and we went. So.
First trip to the state championship since your freshman year, maybe.
Yes.
What are you thinking going into that?
You know, it's my last year, so going out with the state championship is all we ask for. You know, hopefully we can get it.
Seeing Blair Oaks again, what's that mean to you guys to kind of circle here?
You know, we kind of want, it's kind of our revenge. You know, from the first game, it didn't go as planned. You know, had a couple guys out, a little COVID pandemic. You know, but everyone's back. We're playing a lot better since then. So I really hope we can come out to win state.
What area did you really feel like you improved at? You got to mid-season, you won a couple, you lost a couple. From mid-season on, what got better for this program?
Our O-line, you know, I think at the beginning of the year, you know, they were a little rough, a little shaky, and then everyone was kind of new, and they grew into their part, and they're doing well. So I'm proud of them. All right, thank you.
Jim, 30-28, Maryville with the dramatic victory here at the Hound Pound today.
back here with Coach Webb of Maryville High School, and boy, a great day here in the Hound Pound. Last 2 years in this round has been called Mr. Dramatica. Last year wasn't as much fun as this year, but it'll age you, these kind of games. And
just waiting for Coach.
But your guys showed they had fight and grind and everything out there.
Yeah, that's this place. I was born and raised here in Maryville, and played a lot of high school football games on this field, coached a lot. Last week we had a home game win streak snapped. I don't know, 40-something, maybe 60-something games by a district championship, and by Lathrop, a really good team. And you know, what you think back is memories, you know, and a very similar game. You know, had a chance at the end to make a play, and we didn't make it. You know, and this year, this group of kids, you know, obviously that's not how you draw it up there at the end, but, you know, our kids made a play to win the game. And in the state semifinal, this will never be forgotten.
Blair Oaks going to be facing them. I know you said the final score a minute ago. It kind of got wild there at the end, too, but Blair Oaks came out winning that one pretty well. Your victory in the last recent years with Blair Oaks has been in the postseason, in the semis. The 3 regular season games you've had to start the year off with them has not been as well, so maybe there's some fortune there.
Well, before we talk about Blair Oaks, I got to talk about our players.
Go ahead.
My goodness, these guys today, they were told last night at our team dinner, when you play on Saturday, we got to host it, and so we're not traveling. And our kids heard from every state champion quarterback from 1982, 2009, 12, 13, and 17. And they talked about memories and family and what it took. And our kids, since week one, since that first Blair Oaks win, or week one, and we lost to Blair Oaks in the fashion we did because of COVID, they just said we love each other, we trust each other, and we're going to play as long as we can. And that's all it took today was character. And they heard from those older guys that this is memorable. I mean, our kids we'll be ready for Blair Oaks. And my first impression of Blair Oaks, when you think of Ted LePage and that program, the first thing that comes to my mind is class. Those guys play a class brand of football. They are coached in a classy way. Their administration does everything a class way. And we've started this kind of first week one game because we both needed one after 2017, and we've called it the Kickoff Classic. And that's what next week's going to be. I mean, who writes a better story in a book on 2020 for as messed up as this year can be with cancellations and COVID this and COVID that? But for us to be able to play a class program like Blair Oaks for a state championship in week 15, all right, and a rematch from week 1, my goodness. I mean, it doesn't get any better
It's
than that.
Dramatica for sure. And this year has been kind of a different year. I mean, you guys were on ESPN, not for the right play, the one that happened 3 plays after that one. Yeah. But it's just, I mean, different things. You guys have matched up with all these really unique programs, and it puts you on the roadmap even more, doesn't it?
Well, I think it puts us on a path that, look at who our 3 losses were, too, this year. We lost to Blair Oaks week 1. Guess what? We're both – they're still undefeated. They've lost 1 game, right, to a really good Valley team, all right? And you think of it, or however it turned out, and then we play, Odessa. Odessa still hasn't lost, right? They just got beat by COVID,
right?
And then you play St. Pius, who is still playing today in the semifinal. All those games, and then we schedule Lincoln College Prep,
right.
and we go down, we get that win, we finish with our Class 4s, and nobody expected us as a 2 seed to go win the district championship. They're not expected to win, and then the next week we're supposed to play Odessa, and we don't get to play Odessa, but we played Summit Christian. Nobody expected us to be in that round.
No.
And I guarantee you today, nobody around the state thought we were going to beat Cassville the way we did. I guarantee nobody thought it'd be 17-0, against that offense. Are you kidding me? So you think of the way our defensive kids played and our offense just grinded it out and found a way. And then at the end, there's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left in the game. Heartbreaker, right? Mm-hmm. No, our kids just rallied. Our offense called great plays. Our backup quarterback, Ben Walker gets hurt week 1. Connor Drake is making plays, throwing it, and then it ends up to a wide open sophomore. Here's a sophomore kid, Caden Steckline, staying wide open in the end zone, and our backup quarterback hits him with 11 seconds in the game. Are you kidding me? This is like a story. So ask ESPN to come do a story on us in little Hicktown, Titletown, Maryville. That'd be good, right?
Well, I mean, it was just kind of weird how that – I mean, I felt bad after And that's why my guy Brendan Mintz put out that next tweet, because when he made that, it was a 14-point game.
Yeah.
They were on the way to drive.
Yeah.
And his headline was, how do you stop?
Right.
Well, it makes sense. He's 300 pounds.
Sure.
But anyway.
Yeah, highlights are cool, but, team highlights are better than that.
Right. So here's the thing, Coach. This year has just been – they've been handed different things every week, and they've been successfully – handling them every week almost. Just about everything. Everything that you've thrown at them, COVID's thrown at them, 2020's thrown at them, this team is still in there.
Yep.
I mean, no, you didn't have to play Odessa. You still had to go show up and play Lee Summit. You had to adjust for who you thought you were going to be playing. This team has just showed so much adversity and resilience and just moving forward.
Yeah, and I credit to, there's a lot of talk, and believe me, I know high school kids. I'm a teacher. I've got teenage kids myself, and there's a lot of people that, they look at this generation and they're like, boy, what's our future going to be? What are these kids? What are they learning? What's their leadership? What are their character traits? I'm telling you, this football team, you have a lot of faith in the youth of America, because these kids every week, like I said, you put your mask on, let me screen you for your temperature check. The city has a mask ordinance. You can't go to a store without putting it on, But the kids they love each other, man.
Right.
These kids are special. So I guess my message is, don't ever doubt the youth of America, because they're strong, they love each other, and that'll get us through anything.
The other thing I was going to ask you, when you started this year out, this team, with all its distractions throughout the year and the 3 losses you did get, do you think this team could have went undefeated this year? Do you think, or at least had?
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the regular season,
how good do you think this team was at the beginning of the year?
Well, at the end of the regular season, you look at where we're at, and I said this at the end of our Lafayette game. In 2017, because when you grow up here, in 2012 we went undefeated in one state. In 2013 we went undefeated in one state. And then we went, and you had a 42-game win streak, and so sometimes the expectations of Spoofhounds is to go undefeated. But, you hold the rule book up at the end of the regular season, you see where you're at in the districts, and nowhere in the Misha website, the rule book, does it say you have to go undefeated to win state. That's not what it is.
No.
And so the kids kind of look at that and they're like, we're a 2 seed. Okay, let's go find a way to win districts. And then these quarterfinal games are unbelievable, and then these semifinal games are unbelievable, and they just want to play, and they just love each other. They don't care, we lost 3 games. Who cares? We're playing for a state championship next week, and you learn from it, and that adversity and the trials week in, week out, and losing to Odessa and losing to St. Pius the way we did, and the kids just want to be coachable, and they just, like I said, so you look at the rule book and you say, it doesn't say you have to be undefeated. It just says you got to win that game, and that's what these kids have gotten.
Well, I tell you, the relationship you Click and TV and Matt Bew and us have developed has been fun. Every year I look forward to seeing what's going to be on that Maryville football schedule. I don't get a chance to – we have never really gotten a chance to know each other because you guys are down there, we're up here.
Yeah.
But, it's –
You're always welcome. This is a good brand of football, and this community loves it.
We've been there the last 3 years at Blair Oaks. We've been.
It's awesome.
But anyway, it's been a fun run. Brendan Mintz, the kid that did the Lincoln Prep game, will be next week doing audio only because of the Misha thing.
Yeah, I don't know what Misha has, but that's awesome. You guys are always welcome. You guys do a great job of coverage, and I know this, especially in the year of COVID, that UClick has really been valuable for parents and grandparents that maybe couldn't make it to a game. And
we've had to find new ways.
Absolutely, this has been integral. The fan limitations and stuff, for you guys to be able to do this, I think is awesome, and it's very greatly appreciated.
Was that close to having Jonathan Baker today?
Oh man, franchise. Maybe we'll get him next week on audio. He'll be there.
He is great.
Thank you very much.
But anyway, God bless you, brother.
Yes,
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. That's Coach Matt Webb. We'll round it up here with Tom Johnson. I set Tom down there. I thought he knew to take his phone. He didn't, so we kind of.
I was running blind.
Well, in order to hear me, you have to have an earpiece. So
right. I was kind of going, okay, we're going to run this blind, but I don't know if you got any of the interviews that got with the players or not.
Yeah, we got some of them.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll let you take us out real quick.
Great ball game, 30-28. Maryville, they take some lumps early in the season, but when it got to November, the Spoofhounds they went into winning mode, and they had to really dig deep and get gritty and get a dramatic touchdown drive with the winning pass of 8 yards from, as Coach mentioned, backup quarterback at the start of the season to a sophomore wide receiver. It wins it. Steckline from Drake for Maryville. Maryville playing Blair Oaks in a rematch for the state final next week. What a game. 30-28 Spoofhounds over the Cassville Wildcats here on Misha.tv and UClick TV.
Never thought we'd be booking Maryville Blair Oak games, and one to start the season and one to end the season.
Well, they're going to be going right into the Blair Oaks Den, Jefferson City, for the game next week.
Yeah, well,
there'll be a lot of
Columbia's
Maryville.
almost there too.
Yeah,
so
there'll be a lot of Maryville people making that trip, though, no question.
Thanks again for tuning in. Again, to Maryville fans, thank you for your faithful support. It's been a fun year. Matt Webb and Matt Buke scheduled some really good games here, and we just want to thank both of them for allowing us to be part of the Maryville Spoofhound family. Tom Johnson, I'm Jim Bly. Until next week.